Hey, how you doing? This is John, and welcome to John's Long Box. It's the launch party for Heroic Tales. I was just on Michael Bancroft's. He was gracious enough to host me for his channel. Oh, he's here in the chat. We got a Bogan raid. All right. I remember the very first time I got a Bogan raid. I was like, what's happening? I thought something bad was happening. I didn't know what the word Bogan meant, but so he had to explain it to me. But thanks a lot, everybody. We were starting off strong. I'm going to add this to the stage over here. This is an open invite. If anybody wants to come in and talk, you want to talk about your comic, we'll talk about comics all night long. I've been drinking coffee, and I'm not going to sleep anytime soon. I'm not going to sleep until this thing funds. We're funding tonight. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. We got 18 people. We're only $400 away from hitting the 1,000 goal. At 3,000, we're going to start unlocking stretch goal cards. I don't know what else to say. Please, somebody come in here. I do better when I riff with somebody, when I talk with somebody. But I'm going to go down the chat. We got John's Long Box. That's me. That's me, Terry Maxwell. Does anybody get that joke? Again, Heroic Tales 2. Renzo is more than halfway done. To the point I have 3 ads, and I went to the 3 people that are making the ads because I gave them like months, and I was like, could I possibly ask you to do that faster? They're like, oh yeah, sure. Because Renzo is finished with his commitments, and we're going full steam ahead to the point I'm probably going to be sending him the script to the next comic. Eric the Guapo is Foist. Hey, Mark's Music Obsession. How you doing? Hail John. Thank you for coming here. Mark, I love seeing new names. Some person says, Again, here is the link if anybody wants to pop in and talk with me. Live in 24 hours. What? Bogan Raid. Thank you, Michael. And Mike, don't forget to get his book, Lucid. It's really interesting. It involves Sumerian mythology. Something I don't know as much as I should, but I do love Sumerian mythology. Ever since I've played D&D. You dingus. Raid. Hail Bogan Raiders. Das Butter. That theme is catchy, isn't it? It is so freaking catchy. It's now officially the music of Heroic Tales. Like the stream now, boost the algorithm, make it go what? All right, I'm here. Bancroft kicked me out, so blame him. Excelsior. Congratulations, thank you. Good to see all these new names. I'm drinking beer, sleepy. That's my friend Paul, who, if you're a long-time watcher of my channel, you know that my comic is inspired by my role-playing game, which is Villains Vigilantes. If I was smart, I would have it right here, but I don't. And Paul's character is Magnum, and he makes a cameo in issue 2, Heroic Tales. And I have a big story for their super team that I hope I get to make it to. Thank you, Zach Tan. It's me. Just subbed. Thank you, Mark. I sometimes talk about music. What do you like? What kind of music are you interested in? Hey, Don's gonna come. Come on in, Don. Better yet, tell Mama Donna to come in. We all know Mama Donna's the star of the studio. See the Fourth Kind, Freaky Sumerian Poop. Is that a movie? Stop spoiling so much of my own work. Did I spoil it? Gilgamesh and Enkidu now a Sigka. Yeah. Here's a spoiler. Did you know that John Hancock is John Hancock? That movie with Will Smith. He's Gilgamesh, and she's the woman. And the sequel was going to have the Enkidu character. Is Renzo working on a Cute Critter comic? The art looks good. Yeah, he did a Cute Critter comic. I forget the name of the comic, but I might I'll show that. But my wife loved that page. It's sitting right over there on the table. There is this artwork. So, like I said, Renzo, I bought a page from Renzo. Obviously, it's not on there. I said, I got to have that page. So he shipped it to me. Now, I shipped Renzo copies of the comic and a t-shirt. Like anybody who works on my comic, it's the package. It got to Daniel in Brazil, no problem. But it didn't get to Oscar and Renzo. They were in Mexico. It got sent back. So when he sent me, he was just like, listen, I got to spend $100 for a courier service. So he just packed it with all the art. So I am now Renzo's art dealer. Magnum works for Marshall. Yes, here we go. This is Mike. Mike has a comic. I'll bring that up too. Kickstarter. Mike's comic is on Kickstarter. He's also my buddy. He has a comic called Marshall Strong. Marshall Strong makes a cameo in issue 2, and there will be, if I can make it, there will be a Marshall Strong and Magnum story because they're on the same super team. They're on the same super team. So I will be telling their story soon. Well, maybe issue 5 or 6. I think is there's stories that I have to tell. There's some stories that I have to tell in order to make it make sense. But I'm going to bring up. I'll put this link in the chat if anybody wants to. It's a bundle. I mean, it's Thunder Zone Comics, so it's 5 different comics. One of which is Marshall Strong, who makes an appearance in my comic because he's part of the Heroic Tales universe. It's funny because I'm like going over Mike's scripts, like, no, that contradicts my continuity, you know. So you can see that's Marshall Strong there, the guy with the gun. He's a mix between Nick Fury and Captain America. He was Major Marshall Strong, but he got promoted to Colonel Marshall Strong. So he does have superpowers, and that's spoiler. That's why he's in issue 2. It has to do with the nature of superpowers. So check out Mike's comic too. I would be remiss in my duty if I didn't talk about that. So here is Heroic Tales. I'm going to hit refresh. Let's see, where are we up to? Still at 18. Cool. We're at $602 out of the $1,000 goal. Let's make it. Let's make it. Let's scroll back. Negative. They're fighting. They're fighting. I'd say this channel is 75% comics, 25% board games, depending upon how difficult the game is. Yeah, I do talk about board games once in a while. And 5% music. I have done streams where it was just pure music. I like music. I have a music library like your comic library. Love lots of music genres. Yeah, if you go back into my playlists, you could see I used to do Music Mondays, and on Mondays I would make videos only about my record collection. There's a whole playlist called Monday Music or Music Mondays. I forget what it is, and it's like all my 45s. I didn't do the LPs yet, and I didn't do my CDs yet. That's something I would like to do. It's just that now I have a game night on Mondays, so that's why I stopped. Hey, Brian Bow is here. Brian Bow does Wolf and Batsy. Well, if anybody wants to pop in, I think I starred the. You can hit this link and come in, Brian. Hint. And he does a wonderful comic called Wolf and Batsy that may or may not. They were in issue number 1 in the ad. They may or may not be showing up in issue 2. Where is it? Now I just lost it. Is Wolf and Batsy watching too? I don't know. Do they get reception in those castles that they live in? Smash that like. Yep. Thank you. Magnum rules. And John's Long Box. That's me. Oh, I'm reading it like I forgot that it was mine. So, what do you want to talk about? Earlier today, now I want a fruit pie. You know what's funny? Here's a funny story. I want to do like ads. Like my whole comic is like an homage to Bronze Age comics. So I wanted to make a Bronze Age ad, and there's no other like ubiquitous. Is that the word? The epitome of ads than the Hostess cupcake, Twinkies, fruit pies. So I said, let's make that. So it's Horace H. Hoover is the hero, and Horace and Wolf and Batsy are about to attack him, and he staves off the attack. I asked Brian if this is okay. These are his characters. I can't just put his characters in my car. And his only stipulation was it has to be fruit pies. It has to be fruit pies. So it's the cherry pies. So it looks like blood. So it worked out. It was perfect. Brian, he loves the fruit pies. He says his mouth waters when he thinks of fruit pies. Me, I get revolted and disgusted because Twinkies are the best. Let's be realistic. Twinkies are the best. Cupcakes are second best. Fruit pies, only a monster would like them. Yeah, Batsy loves that cherry flavor. Yes. 112. Oh, Roy is here. Roy is Dark Alchemy Limited. He's in one of my game groups. He's in my V&V group. He plays a character called Red Star, a Russian a Russian woman. That's part of the thing. Is she crazy? She believes she's from Tartaria. I didn't know about Tartaria. Roy introduced me to the. It's now my favorite conspiracy theory. And again, if anybody wants to come into and join and help me filibuster, help me talk. I'm not Cory Booker. I can't talk for 25 hours. That light, flaky crust. Oh, Renzo's here. Renzo, do you want to come in? Renzo. My friend Paul said he asked you if you wanted to draw Magnum. And so Paul would like to commission from you one of the characters that you made for the cards. Now, did you I'm asking Renzo, did you draw this on a paper or digital? Because if you drew it on paper, Paul will buy it off you. This is Paul's character. I'm gonna stop this, and I'm gonna share this screen. So what is this? This is he makes a cameo in issue 2. This is Magnum. This is Paul's character that he plays with us. Imagine the Hulk and Magneto got mushed together. So what do you call a guy who's literally big and strong and got magnetic powers? Well, Magnum. So he's got like a black costume with like a red and white M that looks like a magnet. And those balls on him are steel balls that are like snapped to his costume. So he uses his magnetic powers to lift them, but he's harnessed in so he could fly. He just looks stupid. Same with Paul. Paul kind of just looks stupid. And then he could take them off and like use magnetic powers to propel them as weapons. He's vastly powerful. His real name is Christian Darber, and it became a term, Darber damage. Like when you pick up all the dice and you roll all the dice and you spend 10 minutes counting up your damage with the punch, and we all end up talking about politics, something like that, because we're waiting for Paul to finish how much damage he did. That term is called Darber damage. So there you go. Tartarian women. Tartarian woman, stay away from me. There you go. Is StreamYard link if anybody wants to pop in. Hail again, Renzo. Everybody loves Renzo. And I just summoned him. Renzo, I just summoned you.
Hello.
How you doing, Renzo? I'm gonna stop the screen and make you big. Everybody should be able to look at your face. Look at that. Do you see the halo, or is it just me? Look at that. The guy's a saint.
Hello. Hello. So sorry for the messy place, because I have I just moving in a new place. I have a lot of boxes and full of books and stuff.
So how are you? How are you? Your art is getting better and better and better. Each page, I get so excited to see each page. Yeah. And I do agree with you that the Mary Sue is some of your best work. It's so good.
Thanks. I was just talking with Aaron Sparrow about the Doomface and how I can handle 2 very different styles and types of work, and I love all we are making, all these books, Doomface and Mary Sue and the Patriarch. I love all the things we are creating in these books. So I'm pretty excited about that and the issue 3 with Mary Sue and possibly the Raven. Very excited about it.
Yeah, the Raven is going to be like a Batman type character who's going to debut in issue 3. So Renzo's chomping at the bit to draw that. It's going to be dark and brutal,
Yeah, I can't wait for it.
That's going to be fun. I'm going to put the Mary Sue into Heroic Tales number 2 is going to be the second part of the Mary Sue story of her origin, some consequences of her powers and things like that, and then introducing the Raven. And if I'm not going to decide now, but if things go good, I'm going to spin the Patriarch off to his own series. So I will do Patriarch #1, and that'll have the origin of the Patriarch, and then issue 2 of the Patriarch will be the Patriarch versus Raven, because you got to have a Batman Superman team up or fight or whatever. And so that's what I like to do, Renzo, is do like a Patriarch, and then while that's campaign, we'll work on Heroic Tales, and always kind of have like a campaign going. You know what I mean? I would like to think that I garnered enough trust with people would understand that, like, I'm going to deliver. It's going to be good, and so like while Heroic Tales is fulfilling, we'll launch Patriarch or whatever, provided you want to do all this, because this will be 2 books for you.
Yeah. Yeah, can wait for that and all this amazing universe we are creating, and also I was listening with Mike about Mike Bancroft about the Moxie and his girls and how they're gonna have a possibly their own story on the book. Yeah, I really need that right now. I need to draw those women and women and Moxie. I need to draw.
Yeah, I know. When you get Renzo Rodriguez, you got to throw women in it. So I up the sexiness a little bit in this issue. Renzo, I don't want to spoil it now, but issue 4, it's gonna be sexy women deluxe. It's gonna be everybody's gonna love it. Everybody's gonna, because what I plan to do is I have to do things in order, because that's the way I am. So since Heroic Tales had the Patriarch, and then issue 2 is going to have the Patriarch, I think I want to do 2 Mary Sue stories. I'll do 2 Raven stories. You know what I mean? And then introduce 1 new character per issue. So
to keep the consistency and creating new characters, but keeping the same character we create on issue before, and have the continuity. Well,
yeah. So I like the Patriarch. Patriarch #1, like I said, it's gonna have his origin. I had, because Heroic Tales is split into 2 stories, so I had a story of the origin. But if I'm gonna give him his own comic, I have room to expand it. So I'm kind of happy with that. I made up a new supervillain. I can't wait for you to draw her. I don't want to spoil it. I'm really bad at spoiling things, so I'm going to try to keep things secret. But I'll start sending you files of what she looks like, because if Heroic Tales, once you're done with that, we'll go right into Patriarch #1, if that's okay with you. And then with that, I'll launch the campaign. And again, I hope people have enough trust that I'm a little embarrassed that I was 3 weeks late with the campaign, but I think, given everything, if anybody knows me, they know I was in an car accident. I kind of messed up files, and that put me at the bottom of the queue list. So, all things considered, 3 weeks late, what is it really that bad? I'm the only one who brings it up. If I don't bring it up, nobody's even going to remember. I guess in crowdfunding, 3 weeks late is on time. Hey, Kyle Prometheus is here. He's the one who made the trailer, the music. Everybody loves that trailer. Everybody loves that trailer.
Yeah.
Logic Finest is here. I wish Logic Finest would come on and talk. Did you watch earlier today when we were talking about Reed Richards and Galactus?
No. I've been focused on draw a lot of pages, and I have that issue.
Isn't it
one box?
Isn't this a great issue? For those of you who don't know, Reed Richards saves the life of Galactus in this issue. Well, he didn't save he saved the life of Galactus issues before. Now he stands trial because Galactus destroys the Skrull world, and it's just Stippling Vaughn said it's a Star Trek episode because it's arguing philosophical. It's one of my favorite comics, but spoiler alert. saving Galactus is wrong. He destroys planets. You know what I mean? If the cows got together and wiped out humanity, I couldn't argue. And the cows don't want to be eaten. You know what I mean? So I'm torn on it because Reed Richards is one of my favorite characters, and I'm like, they made a bad argument. If they argued that Galactus was a human or an individual with a spirit and agency and whatever, and Reed saved a living organism, that I can't argue. But they say he's a force of nature. You can't save a force of nature. You don't resurrect a tornado. So anyway, hey, Oscar's here. Oscar's the colorist for Mary Sue. It's good to see Renzo is the star of the show. You could come in too, Oscar. I'll put the invite in the chat. That would be fun. Get everybody. Daniel is very shy on social media, so I don't think he'll ever show up. So Oscar, if you want to come in.
I'm pretty shy myself, but I have to.
That's why everybody loves you. You're not on Twitter enough to people to argue with you yet.
Yeah, I need to get back to social network because I need to promote all our work, all our books, and I will try to stay focused just on work. No, don't worry, I'm gonna.
You're doing the right thing. You're doing the right thing, and people are loving your art. Mark Polton bought. Oh, we got a monster in the house.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Renzo, do you know Brian Bow?
Hey.
just his work, and it's amazing. I love it. I'm a huge fan. Thanks to John, because he gave me a few comics about with your work, and amazing.
Yeah, I sent Renzo like a stack of comics. I was like, you got to see this. You got to see this. Like, here's some Wolf his heroic, So I filled. If I'm gonna send a box, fill it. It's
awesome.
And Renzo, your box is sitting right there. I got to send it again. I got to ship it out again. It came back.
Don't worry.
It did go through customs. Daniels went through customs, and he lives in Brazil. But Oscar's came back and yours came back.
Yeah, Mexico is
I disagree with your opinion about racing, but okay, all right. You had me at the beginning, and then you got. I disagree with your opinion about Reed saving Galactus, but you made an absolutely excellent argument. All right, I will take a win when I'll leave my comment alone. I was about to say when you're a married man, you'll take your small wins. So Brian, how's everything?
Oh, okay. I can stay on for just a little bit. I actually have to go eat dinner pretty soon, but I just wanted to jump in and say hi and congratulations on your new campaign and everything. It looks great. Book looks awesome. I just know it's going to be a success.
Yeah. I'm so excited. We're getting a whole bunch of cards. I'm hoping I garnered enough goodwill that a few people said like, I like you. Your comic looks good, but you never fulfilled before. I've been burned
on the first one.
Yeah, so I totally understand that. So I fulfilled the first one. I fulfilled it myself. Brian, you're in the middle of doing that. Oh, you're done now, right? You're fulfilling Wolf and Bats.
I'm this close. I got a little bit behind this week because I ran out of some shipping supplies and had to reorder them. So I got a little bit of a setback this week, but I'm so close to being done with fulfillment on issue 13, and then already started working on the campaign for the next. Well, yeah, already started working on a new campaign. I'm building it.
That's good. I can't wait for the next issue. I want to use a fulfillment service because who wants to beg and board and send out? But I also wanted to do it myself.
Yeah.
So that way I could say from soup to nuts.
Yeah.
I did everything and understand. But if I altogether I had. I'm gonna round it up to 300 backers. So that is my goal. I want to get 300 or more. The money is important, but I want the backers to come back. And as I look at the backer list, I see a lot of the same names. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, fulfillment is the tough part. I always say making comics is playtime. Drawing and writing stories is the fun part.
Right. Absolutely.
Fulfillment is the real work, and it's time consuming. And yeah, when you have when you have regular work, and like I'm a dad, I have a kid too, so it's like got to squeeze that in, wherever I can. But so yeah, I'm almost down to the end. I got a few stragglers left that haven't got their stuff, but it's coming real soon.
Yeah, I'm just talking to the guy right now who Luke Stone designed my page from
Right.
He's out being a hippie. He's playing guitar in church. I was joking with him. I said, "Why did you become a beatnik?" And he's like, "John, I've always been a beatnik." So in the morning, he's going to add another tier where you could get issue 1 and issue 2 in a bundle and not pay extra shipping. So if anybody, I think a bunch of people are holding on for that, and I don't blame you.
Mm-hmm.
If you bought the Renzo cover, which is so beautiful, oh man,
yeah,
that Mary Sue cover. I mean, nothing against that Patriarch. That Patriarch cover is so good, but I love the Mary Sue cover.
Yeah,
and what's funny? I said, how about like we do like an old Fantastic Four with it, and Renzo goes Fantastic Four 202. Like he knew exactly the cover I was talking about.
Nice. I didn't even get a chance to say hi, Renzo. Nice to meet you.
I talk too much.
We haven't talked before. But your art is just awesome, man. I admire it so much because you are so good. The thing I admire, I mean, you know how it is for an artist. You always notice other guys that are so much better at than you at certain things, and the thing you've got over me like crazy is the backgrounds. That's always been my weakness. But man, you draw those cities like nobody's business, and I just admire that so much. That was always my weakness in art school and stuff. It's like structural drawing was like, oh, a headache. Like I can't wrap my brain around this. So I always notice that when people are really great at that. And I mean, all your stuff's cool, but that's the thing that really stands out to me. Like, man, I wish I could do backgrounds like that. Great stuff, man.
Thank you very much, man. And all the time, all the writers with that is working with me, Aaron and John, and all they say the same thing. Please low down all the backgrounds, keep it simple, because the time consuming. But I need the feeling to feel all the background, because I need to keep it real and all the stuff. I sometimes to make more believable on the page, but I really need to low down a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I work in animation storyboards, and sometimes that's what helps you nail down and figure out how to draw a scene, is just figure out the geography of the space that the characters are existing in, and then you can kind of think your way through it. So I get that totally. Like, you want to make the world real so that the characters can be fantastic in the real world. Like, I totally get that. But just figuring out that three-dimensional, like learning how to draw where you're drawing and you're thinking three-dimensionally instead of two-dimensionally. Like, you're thinking about the space that the characters exist in. And when you have really strong backgrounds like that, that just sells the whole thing so strong. It's really, really great and very admirable. And a lot of artists do not give that kind of stuff the time it deserves, but I really admire that. So that stuff's great. But I love your superhero stuff too, and your characters are looking awesome. And yeah, that big robot bug thing you had in the first issue was amazing.
Oh, thanks, man. Thanks. I really like how it turns all the John's ideas and put it on the paper, on the digital platform, and then watch it on full color. It's an amazing feeling to how we create, and it's. I have no words to express all the proud I am for the first book, and now with the second with Mary Sue and the Patriarch #2, and cannot say that the sky is the limit, because I really have a lot of ideas, and I love all the energy from John, and I will try to make my best work possible to make
It's
this a
absolutely great.
reality. Thanks, Alex.
Yeah, it's really good stuff, man.
Thanks. And speaking about the Fantastic Four and John Byrne, I have all that background from him, because I can't believe how he's so fast and make those beautiful pages, and I know he was thinking by Terry Austin, I think, but everything they both make on Fantastic Four makes me, it's my real background.
Yep. Yeah, I agree with you totally. John Byrne's backgrounds were great too. The worlds he created, and yeah, it's amazing when somebody's just amazing at everything, like John Byrne. That's like top notch.
Yeah,
I'm
totally.
trying to add a tier right now. That's why I'm not talking.
Oh, that's okay.
I'm trying to add a tier for buy cover one, buy the Renzo cover and buy the Josh Jose cover with no extra shipping, because people message me. So I'm trying to do it right now. There won't be any art to it, but Luke will, when he comes home from whatever, he'll do it later. But I want to get it now while people are interested. You know what I mean? It's no right on my side that I didn't do it.
It's pretty user friendly. Fund My Comic. Are you getting into are you working on the site right now, like editing it?
Yeah, as we're talking,
it's pretty self-explanatory. If you have a screen capture of the two covers, you can probably put it in there. Anyway, or I can help you with it if you want.
That's why I'm doing. Okay, there we go. All right. So get the Renzo Patriarch cover. I'm spelling my own character's name, Patriarch.
This happened to me on my Kickstarter campaign that I launched, where the night I launched it, there was one thing I missed, and I was just like, while people were trying to bid on it and everything, and I had to jump in there really fast. And
yeah, it's funny because it seems like this is going to be the pattern. The day before I launch, I call Luke in a panic. Luke's like, "Don't worry, John. Don't worry."
But this is also how you learn how to do it yourself, though. When things go wrong, and you have to fix it in an emergency.
Yeah, like, I had a tier for the coin. Jose Garcia, I got to spell his name. I had a tier for the coin last campaign, but it wasn't charging people. You just got it for free. I was like, oh man, so I had to fix that. I'll make this 2. All right.
It's like the quickest way to learn how to fix a car is to have a crappy car that breaks down all the time. Same thing with campaign pages.
Yep.
When you have to fix it.
This is pretty self-explanatory so far. Watch, I'm gonna nuke the whole campaign page or something. As soon as I hit save, everything. If everything goes blank, it was nice knowing.
Actually, have you? Maybe don't do that yet, because doesn't Luke have to reapprove it before it goes? If you make a change.
I have him on hold right now, so I think he could just.
Okay. I wouldn't do it until you're sure about that, just in case.
Okay. Let's see.
Because Fund My Comic does have that thing where if you edit it, they kind of need to reapprove it. But I'm not sure about something as small, a change as small as that. Anyway, looks like you're already more than halfway past your.
Yeah. I don't see the new thing that I just added, so
it takes a minute to refresh. I'll open it on my end just so I can see.
Is it all the way at the bottom?
Hang on.
I don't know what I'm doing, guys. I'm trying to edit
Well,
this.
just wait. Don't rush. You got plenty of time.
Yeah.
It doesn't all have to be perfect tonight.
I just don't want anybody to like get screwed. That like a bunch of people get it back the A cover, and then a bunch of people and the B cover, and they're paying shipping twice. Is I'm not here to screw anybody out.
I don't.
So. Oh well. It didn't take. What did I do wrong? All right.
Hang on. Calm down. Let me see. No, it's not there. No, it's not there yet.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not there. Oh well, I don't know what to do, guys.
Well, I think just let it be for now, and you can make sure talk to Luke. Make sure let him do his magic.
Okay.
Because just in case you have that approval thing, you don't want it to get frozen up altogether. Because I experienced that when I worked with Fund My Comic. Was anytime I made a significant change, he would have to reapprove it. He usually did it really fast though. But
yeah, he's out. He's playing for his church right now, so he doesn't. He's got a life. He's not just sitting there waiting for me.
It's okay.
Hey, Oscar, I see your face popping up a little bit.
Hey, what's up?
This is Oscar Moreno. He did the coloring for Mary Sue. Everybody loves that coloring. It is so good. And Oscar is going to be one of the artists on Eddie is Doomed.
Mm-hmm.
We'll start full steam ahead now that I got this out of the way. So I one thing at a time. I can't handle a whole bunch of stuff. Oh, I got Rex. How you doing? Congratulations on the loss. Thank you. Paul's got to leave. Good. Thanks for popping in, Paul. Sorry if I was ignoring the chat for a little bit. I was trying to work on something that just didn't take.
I've had the privilege of seeing some of that artwork for Eddie's Doomed, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
I love the way you do the characters.
Yeah, that first page, Oscar, you made it look aged and old. Oh, it's so good. Mark Millar even said, "What is this?"
Yeah, I love your handling of the superhero characters. The way you have that little exaggerated quality to them. That's so great. I love it.
Brian is one of the people that, as soon as Renzo sends me a page, I send it to Brian. Check this out. I get so excited. I'm like a little kid.
Yeah, it's great. That was the point of drawing the page to look like an old comic from the 80s.
Yeah. Excellent.
Tonic Mole is fulfilling his comic. I think he's fulfilling 3 comics right now. So when he finishes that, he's gonna get to work on the art. You know what I mean? He's got to fulfill his backers first. I understand that, and we don't have a time frame for Eddie is Doomed yet. So I want to be about like a little bit more than 50% done before we even consider a launch campaign.
Yeah, I'm finishing the Doomsday project with Renzo, and I want to finish that for getting 100% in Eddie's later.
Dark Alchemy, my buddy Roy has a question. He loves Renzo's superhero work in John's first comic. Does Renzo enjoy drawing horror? Can he create art for a game? Roy is a buddy of mine, and he's working on a board game. And I said, get Renzo and Oscar to do your board game artwork. So
yeah. In fact, I start my work on comics on Cinescope, and I started making horror books for them, and I all the kind of horror stories, all the kind of horror movies, and yeah, I'm open to make all kind of stuff.
It was the Dark Child comic, no?
Yes. I started with that with the writer Patrick Chan. Now he has his own label, Space Comic, I think, and he makes kind of cool stuff. And I start with Zenescope making Hellchild with him, and it's a horror fantasy comic.
Right, so you pretty much started on horror because Roy is making a horror-based board game. So that I play tested it with it's kind of fun, you know. It's fun. It was so good. Yeah. So there you go. I know I'm a board game nerd. Did any of you guys play?
No, I'm a video game guy.
Yeah. Oscar, do you play board games?
Yeah, I use it, but not recently. When I was in the college, I have a group of people, friends, who play Dungeons and Dragons and Dark of Darkness and board games.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I find, Brian, you never played Dungeons and Dragons, right?
No, I did play Dungeons and Dragons, but it was like, in the 8th grade, and then I just kind of got out of it. It was too many rules and too many books with too much text and too much stuff you had to learn. I just didn't have the patience for it. I love the monster manuals, and I love the little figurines. I had all those, and I had the toys, and I loved the cartoon and all that stuff. But the game was just too hard to learn.
You don't have to follow all the rules. The storytelling is the fine.
Right.
When I play in Dungeons and Dragons, I have a dungeon master who almost all was storytelling. We keep the books just for reference.
Mm. Yeah, I think when I played it as a kid, me and one of my friends played it that way. We were just like, throw out the books, we'll just make our own rules. Roll the dice to decide if we're strong enough to kill different people and stuff. And we both played as like chaotic evil werewolves, and, and basically just went around and ravaged towns and ate all the people. And then we got yeah it was all about the figures for us.
The point gets fun.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just got into video games, and that became my sort of gaming thing, and especially around 2012 when Skyrim came out, that became my Dungeons and Dragons. It's like it's the exact same kind of thing where you create your own character and develop your skills and go on all these adventures, and it's random with different side quests, and you don't have to play it in order. The choices you make change the story and stuff like that, which is so cool for a video game to be able to do that. And so I became obsessed with that game for years.
I keep joking, but it's not a joke that if this campaign hits $100,000, I'm flying Renzo and Oscar and Brian and Fabrizio. We're all coming to New York, and we're all going to play a role-playing game. Brian will get to play as Wolf and Batsy. Renzo will be the patriarch. Oscar, I guess that makes you Mary Sue. I'm sorry. But that she's the most powerful. So there you go.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot. You know what? I forgot. Actually, I did play a Marvel superhero role-playing game once in college with some guys, and where you could choose whatever Marvel character you wanted to be. You know the game I'm talking about? I don't remember the name of
Marvel
it.
Superheroes. Who did you play as?
The Lizard, Curtis Connors.
I played as the Vision. And the guy who played the game didn't realize how powerful the Vision was, and I just was like stomping through everything.
That's cool. Yeah, I forgot. I did do that role-playing game with my college roommate and a couple other people, so that was cool. But yeah, I haven't really done role-playing since then. It's mostly been just video games.
Maybe you're more the vampire and werewolf, World of Darkness.
Yeah, I like a game that lets me be a monster.
Like you never played the World of Darkness games because there's a werewolf game, there's a vampire game, there's a fairy game. You know, but every Vampire the Masquerade was the most popular.
Okay, what's the name? When I was in art school, a bunch of my friends did the illustrations for one of those werewolf games.
Werewolf, that's gonna drive me nuts. But
Wizards of the Coast games. You guys ever heard of an artist named Steve Prescott? He was one of the illustrators on those books.
He's an awesome artist. I know his work.
He's a buddy of mine I went to art school with.
I want to say yes, but I'm not 100% sure. But what was it called? Werewolf the Apocalypse. That's right.
Might have been.
They all had like pretentious, like there was Mage the Ascension, and you were like a mage in a and they also made a superhero game called Aberrant. But you got to kind of be fast and loose with superheroes. You know what I mean? Like for superheroes, you got to accommodate like Thor level guys and then like Daredevil level guys. You know what I mean? Like, Aberrant. I thought it was too close. Anybody? Roy, did you play any games? If you're in here? Oh wow, we got a lot of people watching. Anybody else want to pop in and talk with us? I should probably put the link to my campaign again, but I got caught up in the conversation.
Can you hear the thunder? I've got a big storm going on right now outside.
No,
and you can't hear it. Okay, because it's pretty loud here. But I guess the mic isn't picking it up.
Renzo, do you ever play Dungeons and Dragons or anything like that?
No, I'm just a comic and book type of kid, and I only played Super Mario 2 video game when I was like 10 or 12 years old, and that's like Street Fighter. Street Fighter 2 in when I was 12. That is all where because I always was a comic book kid, all the Marvel, all the DC, and I was much more focused on draw and read comics. That was my dream since I was a little kid, was draw comics and or make animation. One of that comics was always my kind of safe place.
I'll show you one thing. Let me stop my cam just for a second. I'll be right back.
So Red, what were your favorite comics as a kid?
Fantastic Four and X-Men, all the John Byrne work.
Yeah, I know Oscar's a big John Byrne fan too.
Yeah,
all geeks of Mexico were children of Byrne.
Oh, really? All of he's the most popular.
And I told you before that there was a time when all the comics going published in Mexico was John Byrne. At the same time, they published Dark Phoenix, Man of Steel, Fantastic Four, the West Coast Avengers, and I don't remember if the house. I don't remember, but there are like 6 titles of Byrne in the same time.
At one point, he was doing like 3 titles a month. He was doing like West Coast Avengers and she
Act of Vengeance. I got Act of Vengeance.
Oh,
they published that in Avengers, all doing by Byrne.
Yeah.
For a time, I was thinking he was the only artist in the comic industry.
Yeah. What were you going to show us, Brian?
Well, I have a new Dungeons and Dragons thing that I just got very recently. Did you guys watch the cartoon at all in the early 80s?
Yeah.
Do you remember the episode with the skeleton warrior, Decion? Do you remember that episode?
Yeah.
The ring of power.
Is it articulated or is it?
Yeah. Not only is he articulated, like his head comes off and you can replace it with a head with the mouth open.
Oh wow.
Yeah, the sword goes in the sheath right there. Yeah, he's awesome.
It's a custom of his official.
I got this right over here.
Oh yeah, that's the original one, the original Monster Manual, right?
Yeah. But
Oh, that.
yeah.
I wanted to get that. I love those guys.
Yeah. This is D to, so I got A to E over there, and then D to F. But like the next,
Wow.
I think they got rarer and rarer. They didn't sell, so they
Oh man, I had those on my little list of things to get, and then I forgot about it. But anyway, I loved that cartoon in the '80s when I was a kid, and watched it to death with my cousins. It was like a religious thing every Saturday morning, and I loved the episode with the Skeleton Warrior. So when they came out with this figure, I was like, that is a must-have for me, because as a kid, I only dreamed that they would make a figure of him. I just love him.
U to Z. Wow. Deal. Just. I got this at Brothers Grimm, Roy. I think I took the last one. It's the gaming store that's like around the block from my house. You know, Roy's. But what pisses me off about this is it's D to Z, it's D to F, but there's no devils, there's no demons, and there's no dragons. You know, so it's got the Displacer Beast, which is my favorite Dungeons Dragons monster, and then all the elementals. So I wondered if they're going to make a box of just dragons or a box of just
That's
devils.
awesome.
You know, but you know, I love these. I love these.
I got Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say I love this monster manual.
That is awesome. Yeah,
that's like one of the books that defined my childhood.
Yeah, definitely. I got the Tiamat figure on pre-order. Also, they made a Tiamat that goes with this size, this scale. So she's going to be big, but and it's designed to look like the animated version.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, look it up on Big Bad Toy Store. They have it.
There's in my bathroom. I have a bookshelf, and it's just toys all over the place, all over the bookshelf. And one of the shelves is just D&D miniatures. And but the thing is, there's. All right, I got to get this now.
I opened a can of worms.
Yeah, you're a toy collector?
What's that?
You are a toy collector.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah. Everything. So monsters, Godzilla, you name it. Superheroes.
This is a board game called D&D Attack Wing. So there's a board game called Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
And what it is, it's a tactical miniatures game. You know, so it started out with a World War I, you know, biplane, and then they used this attack wing system for various games. So they finally put it in D&D, and it didn't do too well. But check this out. It's got like these dragon miniatures. So here's a red dragon,
wow,
blue dragon, and what you do?
That's cool.
You have like little spacers. So like when they move so many inches. You know, and they have like stats and stuff, but they have a Tiamat and a Bahamut figure.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I thought I was buying them, but it was just a model. Like I wanted to have the base and the rules and the cards to play this game, to add them to this game. But I just bought a Tiamat model, you know, like a already pre-painted.
Whoa. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I hear that.
It's got little skeletons, little elves and warriors and magicians, and what you do is like you decide we're gonna play. Okay, me, Renzo, and Oscar and Brian, we're all gonna pay. We each have 200 points to build an army, and to buy this figure is this many points, and then to up it with extra. Like, okay, I got a dragon, but the dragon's gonna have extra breath weapons, you know, and so you buy extra cards. So each figure has like a little. It sounds more complicated than it is, but I haven't played this version. I played the hell out of the Star Wars version. I played the hell out of this. My favorite is the Star Trek version because you could build a crew. So you get a little Enterprise and you get a James Kirk card and you get and you have a crew. That when you play these Star Wars, you just have a TIE fighter with one guy inside of it. You know, it's a different scale. So.
Cool.
But there's a Star Wars Armada where it's Star Destroyers versus Capellan or whatever they're called, the big ships.
The Corellian.
You're right, the Corellian corvettes. And then there's another different game called X-Wing, and it's TIE Fighters versus X-Wing. And then there's a miniatures game of Stormtroopers versus Rebel Troopers.
Oh, that's cool.
And I've always fantasized about having 3 tables. And we start out at the Death Star table, you know, the X, whatever it is, the Death Star Destroyer table.
Mhm.
And depending upon how far we get, they launch the TIE fighters and they battle over here. And if the troops make it, then we get to play this and actually have the the rebels. So this game depends on how well we did on this game, and this game depends on how well we did on this game. But it hasn't happened yet.
Cool.
So Renzo, do you understand the depths of my madness? The guy that you're working with.
Yeah, I understand all. I try to have that energy because I don't understand much about the board game. I have to mute myself because all the public trucks and I have a very close street and all kind of trucks moving
Oh, okay.
and I have to mute myself. But I'm listening all that energy, all that game board, and I will I will love to have that feeling for the game boards because I never touch any kind of that. Not because I don't like it, but more because I have the chance to play that. But I love it. I love it so far.
This attack wing system, like I said, they do Star Wars, they do Star Trek, they do Dungeons and Dragons, they do Napoleonic, like Age of Sail ships, which is my favorite. So it's like these big frigates and everything like that. And believe it or not, that is the most complicated because you have to factor in wind speed and the weight of but you can make them as complicated. But I have it's like a steampunk. It's gigantic blimps. It's called Leviathans, and they have these gigantic blimps that pre-painted. I still haven't played them yet. So you could be like the French, and you have French blimps, and the British, and you have British blimps, and the Germanic blimps. And every time my friend Adam comes over, he's like, "Did you read the rules yet?" I'm like, "No." It's funny because the tariffs with China now, a lot of board game companies are freaking out because the prices of board games are going to skyrocket. And I'm just like, well, Roy will attest this. I guess it's time to break out these hundreds of games I still have cellophane and actually play them. Like, here, I'll show you guys. There's my refrigerator with all the stickers from all the campaigns. You can see a Wolf of Batsy sticker on there. And then this is just board games on shelves. And then you can see board games on the floor. I'll go the other way so I don't. There's board games behind me, the stacks of comics, board games over there. And I'll say about 90% of them are still in cellophane. Board games over there, popcorn machine, the big old TV. So, yeah, Roy teases, like, every time he comes over, we'll rip out another game out of the cellophane and play it.
I'm looking for your Monster Manual figures on eBay. I don't see them. What's the name of the set called?
They're officially called Dungeons and Dragons Classic Collection.
Ah, okay, that's why I'm looking.
And if you like me, you got to buy them in alphabetical order. So I have
right.
I have D to E, and now I have D to F. And Roy just told me that U to something is U to Z is on pre-order. Hey, Bill Williams, how you doing, Bill? How are you? How's everybody? And again, if anybody wants to pop in, I've been literally talking since 4:00 this morning.
Oh, they got the Shambling Mound. That was one of my favorites.
Yeah. Oh, like I said, I'm thinking of having a, if we get a couple more issues down, if you could pick the Dungeons and Dragons influence to all the monsters in my comic,
make a contest.
Yeah, because if you're good with D&D, you could spot the Dungeons and Dragons influence because it's my comic is comic books, Dungeons and Dragons, and Lovecraft all mushed together.
Oh right, yeah, you've told me that before.
Yeah.
Oh, those things look great. Man, I want to buy them all now.
and he doesn't even play D&D. Yeah.
No, but I love the monsters. I mean,
yeah,
I know enough about it.
Brian loves his. Well, he's the creator of Wolf of Batsy. It's he loves his monsters. We were talking earlier on Twitter about you brought up the fact that like superhero fans are never satisfied with superhero movies, like the
not always. I think I said sometimes I feel like some of my friends who are superhero, that's their thing. They're obsessed with superheroes. Sometimes they're a little strict and unforgiving of the superhero movies.
That's me.
Which to me, they're just there's a couple clunkers for sure, but most of them I just think they're fun. But then I think about, well, all the modern, like I'm into horror, and all the modern horror movies that I sort of turn my snobby little nose up at and go, that's not good enough. So maybe it's just whatever your favorite genre is, that's what you're most critical of.
I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I said like a lot of the horror movies, are their own things. Like there was no Scream comic book to base Scream on, or
no, but my point was that, there's a lot of horror movies that are based on classic
that's
literature.
what I was getting to. Like, how harsh are, because I know Dracula is one of your favorite books.
Right.
So how harsh are you on Dracula movies?
Well, the thing about Dracula movies, it's like Batman movies. They all get it wrong. Every single one of them, you see a little glimpse of the real character from the source material, but most of it is inaccurate. But they were making Dracula movies wrong before I was born, so I grew up with Dracula movies that were a distortion of the novel. So I'm more forgiving of that, just because that's how it always has been, But what I get more offended by is like when they do a really bad sequel to a classic horror movie, and then they kind of, what do they say? The besmirch the good name of the great monster character, something like that always gets on my nerves, So that's what I was talking about more. But yeah.
Oscar, Renzo, you guys into horror movies also?
Yeah. Horror and sci-fi are my favorite genres.
Yeah.
Mine is horror. In fact, okay. Sorry. I was just thinking what Brian thinks about this new Nosferatu movie from last year. Do you like the mustache and all the zombie creep? I like the movie. It's fun, but I don't know. I don't like the mustache on the.
Exactly. That's all it takes to ruin it for me, because to me Nosferatu has such an iconic appearance. You don't mess. That's one of those designs you just don't mess with it. And they changed it in a way that I just did not like the visual image of it, and that. Yeah, I get very hung up on visuals. I can be forgiving of a movie that's flawed if it looks great sometimes, and if, you know what I mean, and if a movie, and there are movies that maybe are better made, but if the visuals don't appeal to me, it's harder for me to love that movie. You know what I mean? So that's a me thing. But
which movie did the Dracula novel the best, do you think?
Well, the most accurate one is the Louis Jordan BBC TV miniseries from the 1970s. Although I don't like the casting of him as Dracula, but that was the one that really does do the book beat by beat. But it's so dated. If you try to watch it now, the effects are they were low budget when it was made.
Yeah, BBC, so it looks like a Doctor Who, an early Doctor
Who. Exactly. But if you want to talk about faithful to the book, if you're a real stickler for that, that's the one that really does come the closest to the novel. But there's a lot of other ones that are like, close in spirit, or they get part of it really right, and then they go off in another direction. But I love a lot of them. I don't know.
What about the Francis Ford Coppola one?
I love that movie.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's my favorite.
It's like, okay, that movie is like in thirds. The first third is excellent. The last third is excellent. And then the middle part is where they completely go off the rails and make things happen that are not in the book at all. And it's frustrating, but I think that movie had its heart in the right place.
I feel the Last Demeter movie.
Oh, yes.
It's interesting concept. I don't like the execution.
Okay.
It's like seeing a Dracula alien movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I like
Very,
that.
very interesting concept.
Was
Mhm.
I wanted to watch it, but these days, if you don't go, excuse me, these days if you don't go to the movies right away, you miss it. So
Yeah.
I missed it. You know, I
It's
blinked
in
it.
Max.
What's that?
It's in Max.
Yeah. We don't have Disney Max. I'm a little mad.
No, HBO Max.
Oh,
is it HBO Max? Is
Yeah,
that the
yeah,
one?
HBO Max.
Yeah.
We don't have Disney. We don't have HBO. We have Netflix and like whatever.
I'm a crazy person. I saw just enough of it to make me think I'm gonna like that one, and I bought it on Blu-ray, sight unseen, and just watched it, and I did like it. So I have a pretty good sense about that, Spidey sense.
I'm curious, Brian. Which one is the most scariest horror movie you see?
Ooh,
The scariest?
it's a
Yeah,
scary
yeah.
horror movie.
I have a problem. I like a horror genre, and I have a lot of movies and the German Nosferatu and Caligari and
Mhm.
others, but I don't get scared. It's just a jump scare or
Yeah.
no, not a good story. There
Right.
are a little concept like the Babadook or the It Follows that,
Mhm.
but not scare.
Yeah, same here. I mean, I'm pretty immune to it after watching horror movies my whole life. It's like nothing scares me anymore. But I would say one movie that really did kind of get me was the first time I saw it.
Yeah. The Exorcist, like I see
Yeah.
it in like 10 or 7 years old. It was scary. I see it now and
Oh,
not
right.
that scary.
Right. When I was in college, I was home alone at my apartment, and I lived in a crappy ghetto apartment. And it was the middle of the day, and I watched for the first time Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer.
Yeah.
Have you seen that one?
That
No,
movie
no, no.
scares me.
That
No,
movie,
I see Man by Dog.
yes, I remember Man Bites Dog. I do remember that one. But Henry was one that really did get under my skin because I was home alone, and it's not like a slasher movie. It's like a raw.
And it could
What?
really happen. That's the kind
Well,
of
it did. It
Yeah,
did.
yeah.
It's
Right.
based on a real serial killer, Henry Lee Lucas. But it's. I mean, it's got scenes in there where it's like they're doing home invasions, just breaking into people's houses and murdering the whole family, and they just set up a video camera and film it while they're doing it, and the camera just sits there and stares at it. It's super unsettling, and even at like age 22 or whatever I was, and I'm almost totally immune to all horror movies, but sitting alone in my crappy ghetto apartment by myself in 1990, whatever it was.
Yeah.
I really got like, yikes.
like I could watch. My brother used to take me to Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
As you and my brother, we could talk horror movies. He loves horror movies as much as I love comics, and he would take me. I was a little kid, so I was seeing horror movies in the movie theater as a little kid. And Friday the 13th, it just became a tradition. It was almost every year there was another one.
Mhm.
So and that's the only series that I still watch because I'm compulsive that way.
I love them.
And it just they got silly, they got bad, they got whatever. But I still watch them. But they don't scare me. They don't scare because this Revenant coming back from the dead, it can't happen. But like Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer, that terrifies me.
That one is brutal. I'll tell you another one that actually did scare me too. Well, I don't know if scare is the right word, but it really got to my phobias. Do you hear that thunder out there? I'm having a real haunted house storm outside tonight. One movie that really got to me was The Descent.
Yes, you recommended that. I watched it.
That's a movie where it's about their cave diving and doing the spelunking cave exploration thing, and I have claustrophobia, and the stuff in the caves is scarier than the monsters.
That's a good one.
One thing I liked about that movie is they started suspecting each other
Yeah.
And I was getting scared. Is this girl going to kill this girl? You know, because of this misunderstanding. So there was like real life human drama, and then there was. Would you call them monsters? Like, do they fit the criteria for monsters? I would say yes.
Definitely, yeah, sure. But I mean, I wasn't even. I was more freaked out by like, are they going to get trapped and stuck in this narrow little thing that they're crawling through?
Yeah.
That's my worst nightmare.
That's why I wanted to see Demeter, and I forgot about it because to me everything's scarier on a boat because you're trapped on a boat. Where are you going to go? You know what I mean? You're in the middle of Kansas. Get in your car and drive.
Right.
You know, a vampire on a boat. Just put anything on a boat, especially an old-fashioned boat. You know, with the winds and storms.
I did like that one. I mean, I thought it was well done for what it was, you know. But I like cheesy Dracula movies too. Like I love a lot of the ones people think are bad. I still like, you know,
there's one a movie
around the block. So my wife got me Chick-fil-A to celebrate.
I'm starving. I gotta go eat. I haven't eaten dinner yet.
I can't wait anymore. I'm sitting there looking at this food for hours. I'm like, I gotta eat it.
Hey, Brian, did you hear from Carlos Taboada movies?
Which one?
Carlos Taboada movies. It's a Mexican director.
Carlos
Taboada.
Give me some titles.
That movies, that's the one I scary most. He have a fairy dust, darker than night, more scary than the wind, and the most scary is the Book of Stone.
Oh no, I haven't seen those.
Wow,
No.
I've never seen Brian.
That for movies are very, very scary.
Are they recent?
I have nightmares. What?
Are they recent?
No. They're from the 70s.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Because all right,
I know
okay.
what Brian's doing tonight. He's ordering Dungeons and Dragons miniatures and then watching Mexican horror movies.
Yeah. I'm really into European horror films, like the Italian films and the Spanish films. But I haven't, and French horror films from the 70s. Like I like a lot of those, but I haven't really gotten that deep into Mexican horror films. I know a few of them. Iorna, and is it called The Crying Woman?
La Llorona?
No, but the movie was called The Crying Woman, I think.
La Llorona.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I remember that when I lived in New Mexico. That was like a big urban legend. La Llorona, the crying woman.
And there's one called World of the Vampires that's kind of cheesy, but I liked it. But
I remember one recent movie. I was very, very scary. Did you hear for the coffee table? It's in Apple TV. You can rent it.
Okay.
The coffee table.
It's a very, very scary movie.
Okay. Have to look into that. Yeah, Mexican horror films and Asian horror films are two areas that I've not really gotten that far into. But I'm super into the European ones, like Spanish horror films, like the Paul Naschy films, Tombs of the Blind Dead, the whole Blind Dead series. There's like 4 of them. And Italian horror films. The Italian Gothic horror films of the 1960s are some of my favorites. That's a whole genre. The Mario Bava movies, the Barbara Steele movies. That's a whole world you can dive into. That's a whole rabbit trail you can go down.
Yeah.
I love all that stuff.
In Mexico, there are no much horror movies. Taboada was the best, and then Guillermo del Toro.
Yep.
But there are vampire versus wrestlers and monster. There are cheesy comedy.
Yeah.
Was that movie called Zombie, where the zombie fights the shark? Was that Italian?
Yeah, that's Fulci. That's
Italian.
Lucio Fulci's Zombie. Yeah.
That has the best zombies in it. They just look like rotting corpses. Like,
Have you seen Burial Ground?
No, no.
That has some of the nastiest looking zombies you've ever seen. They put real maggots on the makeup on the faces.
Oh, cool.
They look all dried out and gross. That movie's got great looking zombies. That's one of the most demented horror films ever made.
I just watched why can't I think of it now? That movie made in South America, what he was arrested for they actually thought he killed somebody while making the movie.
Cannibal Holocaust?
Cannibal Holocaust. Yeah, I watched that like a couple of months ago. Yeah. The scene where there's a scene with a woman impaled, and man,
right.
I actually had to go on YouTube and watch how they made it because I could see why the local authorities thought it really happened.
Have you looked up Guinea Pig?
Is that another movie?
That's another movie where there's a whole sequence where a samurai has a woman chained down to a table and slowly dismembers her.
Oh my God, I don't know if I want to watch that.
It's a Japanese film. And Charlie Sheen saw it and thought it was real and called the FBI.
Oh,
and the FBI
story. Yeah.
The FBI actually thought it was real and investigated the guy. And he basically just like brought the actress to them and said, here she is. She's still alive. And he showed them the whole demonstration of how they did the special effects and
oh my God.
everything. But I saw it before that case was settled. And I was like, whoa, I'm not sure. Because I got it on a bootleg videotape in the 90s. So
I remember like when I was in college, what was it? Well, out of college, I guess, like during the infancy, like people were like sharing like crime scene videos.
Oh yeah, those were bad. Those are terrible.
There was a website.
The whole series of Faces of Death.
Yeah,
Faces of Death. Yeah,
I couldn't handle that. I mean, nowadays we know it's mostly fake, but even as a kid, I remember this kid Danny was like, "Let's watch this." And we like 10 minutes. I was like, "You like this? I don't want to watch this." You know.
Oh yeah.
I could watch a horror like Jason. Me and my brother watching Jason with popcorn because it's fake.
Right.
You know, like E-Bombs World. You go down there and it was like real people falling off buildings. I'm like, I don't want to watch this.
This conversation is not really in the spirit of heroic tales.
I know.
Yeah. Maybe we need to do a new show for horror.
Right. You got a bunch of sickos making this comic book, John.
It's superheroes. There is darkness in it. Brian's one of the few people that knows some plot points that I'd like to get to. Like I said, it's Dungeons and Dragons, superheroes with a touch of Lovecraft. The Subterranean, the bad guy that the patriarch fights.
Mm-hmm.
There's a hint. I hope you guys pick it up. Well, I'm telling you now, but there's that he's not the worst thing below the earth. You know, like Tolkien said, there's nameless things below the earth. You know, I'm trying to set up that there's a lot more. Every issue I want to peel back a layer of the onion. Like in issue one, I don't really tell you much about the world. It's just a superhero flying around solving crimes and whatever, saving cats and trees and things like that. Issue 2, Mary Sue More Than the Patriarch explains the nature of superpowers, how they work, where they come from. I hope I pull it off well. And then the Patriarch story is trying to show you that the world is bigger and darker and scarier, because what good is a superhero without threats? So I do want to delve into horror. Like I do have a issue 3. If we get to issue 3, the Raven story, I kind of want it to be a horror movie, but in reverse. Like the Raven is the bad guy. You know, I want to tell again, people get upset when I say this, but there hasn't been a Batman movie yet. Every Batman movie is not Batman. Batman is a stealth guy, moving quick, using his brain to solve crimes. He's not a guy that stands there and gets shot 42 times by machine guns and his armor. That's an Iron Man movie. Same with Black Panther. You know, so I want there to be scary Batman movie. So
this is why I wish you were into video games, because the Arkham Asylum game and the Arkham City game were the best superhero games ever, because you play as Batman and you come into a place where there's a bunch of crooks doing something, And it truly gives you the Batman experience because you can choose whether to jump in and just brawl and fight them all, or you can sneak all around the whole entire environment and use your gadgets to take them out stealth one by one. And it is so satisfying because as you take them out one by one, you hear them all start to freak out. Like, hey, Joey's down. What's going on here? Somebody's in here with us, and they freak out and you can hide and disguise yourself and stuff like that. It's awesome.
That's what I want to try to. So I want to make the introduction to the Raven. He's the monster. He's Jason. He's Michael Myers, and the bad guys. And then one of them is going to be the final girl. One of the bad guys is going to be the final girl who's basically telling the police what happened. This is just, whatever, bird of prey. And you guys will see how I like the Joker. There's going to be like a Joker analog. So
is that it? Is that issue 3?
That'll be issue 3. Yeah,
okay,
so
cool.
Heroic Tales is going to have the second part of the Mary Sue story, and then introduction to the Raven. Unless this comic doesn't do that well, because I was going to spin the Patriarch off, but if this comic does less than the first comic, then I'm going to just keep it Patriarch, and you know what I mean. I won't be able to do a second issue, so I'm hoping.
I think it'll be fine.
I could give the Patriarch his own expanded origin, and again, Brian knows the bad guy in that comic. We were talking about that.
Oh yeah, that's right. we did talk about that. I'm sorry. I need to go eat. I am starving. I haven't eaten dinner yet.
Turn into a werewolf in front of us.
Yeah. I wanted to pop in though and tell you congrats on your new campaign, and
Thanks.
I know it's going to do great.
Thanks.
And good to meet you, Oscar, and good to meet Renzo.
Nice to meet you.
And we'll catch up and do this again soon. I promise, because I haven't done enough of these lately. It's been a busy year.
You're always welcome to come on and talk.
I know I don't take advantage of it often as I should, but anyway, good seeing you guys. I'm gonna go eat.
I'm eating as we're talking. I know it's bad manners, but I can't hold it in anymore.
All right, cool. Well,
thanks, Brian.
All right, we'll talk. See you later.
Yeah.
And I'll throw the invite again if anybody else wants to come in. I kind of like 4 people. It's kind of nice to have 4. I don't know if Renzo is gone for good. Renzo, you gone for good? But so
I think he's going to eat or something.
Oh, my computer just updated, so I will share my campaign. I think it's at the same number.
Did you refresh the
So
page?
I think it's still only at 18. I almost refreshed StreamYard. That would have been bad. Yeah, it's still at 18 because I got my phone here. I'm not hearing any pings anymore. Yeah. So
what's up with Bancroft?
Yeah, I launched on Bancroft at 9 o'clock for 1 hour, and then at 10 o'clock I came over to my own channel. So he does an hour-long show on Fridays. If he either does a launch stream or he does like an art share or something like that. Hey, Master Swag, how you doing? I'm going to be on Master Swag's channel tomorrow, 7 p.m. Pacific time. I forget what is that, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'll be throwing the rope out to see if anybody wants to have a guest. Oh, I just got a notification. We should be at 19. Hey, 19. Thank you. Yeah.
By the way, 64% is great.
Yeah.
One day.
It would be fun to get the backer number. Hey, Marcus, how you doing?
Hi, Marcus.
Marcus, do you know Oscar? Have you ever met Oscar before?
I don't know if I officially met Oscar. I've seen Oscar on stream. Hey, Oscar.
Hi, how you doing?
Good. I love your work.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Eddie is Doomed.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
Eddie's Doomed is going to be so good because we already started that. Like I said, Tonic Mole is he's going to draw the Eddie portions. Oscar is going to draw the superhero portions, and whereas Heroic Tales is a love letter to Bronze Age comics. Eddie is Doomed is a love letter to Silver Age comics. And Golden Age, but it's gonna be so good. It's gonna be so much fun. I was super nervous about even making it until I saw Oscar's designs, and then I'm like, this is gonna be so good.
Mhm.
Yeah, the script is great.
Oh,
I love it. It's like Charles Burns or how, I don't remember the name of the Ghost War author.
what name?
The Ghost War author.
Well, I always say Charles Burns is a good one. Yeah, it Black Hole is the name.
No. The other one I forgot the name right now. The one who did the Ghost War.
Oh, Ghost World. Why can't I think of his name? That's good.
Dan Cloud.
Yeah, Dan Close.
Yeah,
I read the script and I feel it like Danny Close.
right. I tell people it's Love and Rockets meets Crisis on Infinite Earths, but yeah, Dan Clowes is even better description of it. It's supposed to be the comic book that you graduate from superhero comics. You know what I mean? Like I remember when I was in the comic book store, I'm getting my Superman and my Fantastic Four, and then later on, I'm picking up Ghost World and Love and Rockets. So yeah, that's good if you compare it to that. Yeah, Tonic Bowl loves the script.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it's a good one.
I can't wait. Yeah, it's so good. And then after Heroic Tales 2, we're going to be working on the Patriarch #1, and then I would like to work on it's a secret, but Oscar knows what we're talking about. I want to do like a historical mythological comic, and I'm being tight-lipped about it on purpose because I really like the idea, and I don't want anybody else to hop on the idea until we lock it down. But Oscar, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to tell anybody the topic yet, but we're gonna start working on that. Heroic Tales and Patriarch will be the priority, so like maybe like every 3 pages of that we'll do 1 page of this, whatever. I don't know. I'm talking out of my butt.
So
Yeah, to keep Renzo busy.
Right.
So is Eddie is Doom's going to be another like 22 pager or so?
No, the script
Or is it going to be more of a graphic novel?
Like a 50 page.
Ah, yeah. Well, that's what I thought, but I wasn't sure.
Originally it was like 22 pages, and all the superhero stuff was just like he picks up a comic and you see and then once I saw Oscar's designs, I was like, I got to give these guys words and stories and everything.
Right.
So, Oscar's so good, he gave himself work.
Mm. I could imagine Oscar's pretty busy.
Yeah, a little. Fortunately. Yeah, I'm finishing with Renzo too. The Doomsday comic is almost done, and I did the Mary Sue. I'm working with Renzo again in the postcard, no, the trading cards from Hero Tales. I got the next 5. I'm working on them in this weekend. I hope so.
Crenshaw says, oh man, sorry, I almost choked to death.
That's great.
You're nailing the
Yeah.
character name game. They're all so good. Crenshaw's been watching for a while. I see a whole bunch of people are watching. Thank you. If you came over from Bancroft and stayed watching, again, thank you. But if you've been watching my channel for a long time, you know that I'm a stickler for a superhero name. I've been saying this for a while, that to me, when you come up with a superhero, it stems from the name. Like I'll be at work and I'll hear something. Like, here's an example. We're getting a lot of deliveries at work, and I'm what's called the locker pup. That means I handle like all the deliveries and the logistics and distributing the everything that comes. So I'm dealing with big, heavy, freaking deliveries of steel boxes and electrical equipment and things like that. And I got to get the pallet jack and pull it out of the truck. And this dock is just the worst. So we're using a lot of pieces of wood to support it. And wood
Right.
that you use is called dunnage. So I've been thinking, I want to have a bad guy called Dunnage. Now, what would he do? Like, to me, the name Dunnage just came in, and then everything to me just fell from that name. So Marcus and Oscar, if I was to tell you to design, I already gave it away by saying bad guy, because to me he can only be a bad guy. But what would you do with the name Dunnage? What would your character be?
Dunnage.
Yeah, giving what I just described.
He'd be a big, strong guy.
There you go.
A big, strong guy. Maybe he wears dunnage. He wears some sort of armor. You know, that kind of denotes that steel you were talking about.
Well, dunnage is wood that you use to
Oh,
support.
wood. Well, then,
So he's Solomon Grundy.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's a big wooden Solomon Grundy kind of guy. You know, a wooden dumb
Right.
strong.
Definitely super strength. You know.
You know, and he's made out of wood, which is lumber, so he's lumbering. You know, and he's just like, you know, he's Magneto's.
So you're not making a character called Fiber and then having like straps on him.
There you go. so that's like what I'm talking about. Like, if you have a name and everything else falls out. So my foreman is this guy named Kelvin. He's just, I love talking to Kelvin. He's the smartest human being I've ever met in real life. This guy, he knows all the electrical stuff. He's organized, and he's got a smile on his face. He's not like that stereotypical construction foreman that's yelling. He's like pleasant, and he's very thinky, and he's very interested in my comics. So I told him my theory, and he goes home and he's talking to his kids. So now his kids are coming up with superhero names, and his youngest is like candy bars. So they're going through candy bars and they're making superheroes. So they're like Kit Kat. So like Kit Kat would be a you know, and they call it John's Rule. And John's Rule would be Kit Kat would be, she's like Catwoman, but it's chocolate. So she's a black woman who's a Catwoman, and she's named Kit, and then Snickers. So he's throwing up names of candy bars because he's talking to his little kids, and the kid's like, oh, Snickers is an evil or Joker. He's just like crazy candy.
You bet you couldn't get Rob Liefeld when he was a little kid. He taught him your rule.
I know.
It's like Prophet. We drew like I showed that earlier. I don't show it again. I show Prophet. What is Prophet? Prophet's a guy with a couple of swords, right? And he's super strong. As far as I know, I don't really read that many issues of Prophet.
I read all.
Sometimes he's a cape.
I still don't know what he does.
And they change his costume I drew the classic one that Dan Panozzi came up with, or that he started penciling. He didn't really. Rob came up with it. And then when Stephen Platt came, he got more straps, and he got a thing of goggles that make no sense on his head. And why is he named Prophet? So if I have a character named Prophet, right? So Prophet is a guy. He's a prophet. I mean, what is it? There's an origin of there's a definition of that name,
right?
Of the word prophet. So he's a thinner guy, and maybe he's more like a Doctor Strange character, where it's magic, and he sees the future, maybe a limited seeing of the future.
Right. He has to
prophet, like he's a prophet, right? So why is this big, bulky character prophet?
Same with
Cable. It's a fine character. I mean, I don't care about what the character do. I mean, it's their costume. It's fine. It is what it is. Once you start drawing it. But why is he named Prophet? Like Supreme makes sense.
Right.
Perfect name. He does it sometimes. Right.
Supreme is one of Liefeld's better creations, if you ask me.
And then it makes a lot of sense.
And then when Alan Moore took it over, it even went higher. So Crenshaw saying
get all the issues in a row. That's the hardest thing with Supreme.
He's like, for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, bring up King Fu. I'm going to bring up the card that Oscar.
When you talk to Dan Fraga, you should talk about Kid. I don't think anybody really talks to him about it. Kid Supreme. If you read that, I don't know.
Oh, promotional. Okay, there we go.
King Fu. King Fu's a good name. Yeah.
Yeah.
where Kim Fu is going to publish. Is Marisu story or what?
Let
Kim
me.
Fu.
Oh, Renzo's back. I didn't know if you had a problem.
Yeah,
But-
so sorry. I had a emergency call and I
Oh,
have to
okay.
answer.
Don't apologize. Yeah, you got to do what you got to do. So this is King Fu. So this is a character that I'll bring it. I'll make it smaller so we can see everything. But this is a name that it's inspired by. It's inspired by Mac Raboy's Captain Marvel Jr. And yeah. So when I saw Captain, I bought a hardcover collection of Mac Raboy's Captain Marvel Jr. And the story is that Elvis Presley went to a barber with the Captain Marvel Jr. comic and said, "Make my hair look like that." And that's the origin of Elvis's pompadour is Captain Marvel Jr. as drawn by Mac Raboy. So I just love that. And I was like, and then you see Elvis in those superhero outfits. It's basically he's aping Captain Marvel Jr.
That's
So-
right.
So for about 15 years ago, I introduced him. I made him in my role playing game, and my players all loved King Fu. My friend Jimmy would be like, "I want to team up with King Fu. I want to team up." So I was like, I got to throw him in Heroic Tales. So he has a small part in Heroic Tales too, and people are reacting to this artwork. I mean, look at that drawing by Renzo and that colors by Oscar.
That's
It is
fantastic.
awesome. It is awesome. So the point. He's gonna be in Heroic Tales 3. He's gonna be in Mary Sue's story next. I don't want to tell the story, but it was going to be set in Flushing, New York. Mary Sue, that's where she grew up. I actually know the exact address and everything like that because I'm so familiar with that part of town. And she was going to team up with another Asian superhero. And I said, I could just use King Fu. Why do I have to introduce a whole nother character? People like this character already. So, and then because of that, I thought up something else. And I'm going to, because the fan reaction to this artwork, I came up with a better story. So I'm just.
Yeah, I want to see him fight in a fight scene.
Yeah, he does. Unfortunately, he doesn't fight in issue 2. He just has a cameo. But issue 3, he is going to be fighting, and yes, he has superhuman powers. So he has super agility. He's like Spider-Man.
He transformed in a dragon.
What's that?
He transformed in a dragon.
No, he doesn't transform. He just does martial arts. That's just Renzo making the dragon. He doesn't transform into a dragon.
Actually, transforming into a dragon sounds like fun.
Yeah, now that I'm
I was thinking because the dragon
Now
has
you think
the
about it.
glasses and the hair. I was thinking it was him.
Renzo said. Go ahead, Renzo.
Yeah, I was inspired by the Bruce Lee poster, that pose with the classic dragon behind him, and I just want to make a tribute, a parody. Not a
Yeah, I got that poster in my room as a child.
Yeah, I love that pose. And that character I love so much. Just when I was drawing, I just picture on my head all the cool things that sweet and that pose and that all that abilities, all the skills he can develop on comic, and I can't wait to draw it.
Yeah. So he's going to be in action in issue 3. He's going to be doing a lot of fighting. And then I have a twist for Mary Sue's 3rd appearance that I don't have scheduled yet. Let's hope I can get there because I already told Renzo what the cover is going to look like. That's
Nobody told you about the colors from Iron Fist.
Right. I was just about to say that because in my mind he's got the white Elvis suit, or and Oscar said he wanted the color of gold and green like Iron Fist, and I was like, all right, go ahead. And now I see it, and it's perfect.
Yeah.
Now I see it. It's perfect. I was like, all right.
We already have a couple of characters that have white, heavily white uniforms. So the 3rd, like you keep using white,
Right. Now that I see the originally he was supposed to be white and gold, but like he's going to be teaming up with Mary Sue, So you're right, Marcus. Having two white character.
Just a thought. I don't. That's not a criticism. It's just something.
No.
And you have Luna too.
Right. It's a listen to you guys. When you got people as talented as Renzo and Oscar, you listen to them. You know, I'm not a tyrant. You know.
Well, that's not what I heard, but I'll let that go.
Yeah.
I'm only kidding.
So I just back to the name, great names. I just get a kick out of my buddy at work, Kelvin, and his family and his little kids are sitting at the dinner table playing a game based on my insanity for superhero rules.
That is pretty funny. That's excellent.
I was talking with Paul Thayer, who does a Project Analysis, and and he does it completely different than me. You know, like he's like, I need a guy with these powers. So he reverse engineers as far as my thinking.
I see. But does he use the same type of names like that are useful, like you have, or does he have more names like Cable-ish?
I'd say his names are more 90s names. Like one of the characters' names is Crimson Pain. That's his speedster.
Right. I saw that. Yeah.
You know, and now that I'm saying it out loud, I realize, he runs through people and there's Crimson, and because so that name works. But like he has another character who heightened reflexes, uses a big gun, armored, and his name is Lithium. You know.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, right. Well, I just figured because he's a little more based in the 90s, but doesn't mean I criticize him. I just
it's different styles, but his comic is good, man. I really like it.
Well, yeah, you're not the only one. Andy Smith loves that comic.
Yeah. Like I said, it's a 90s comic, but well written. So if you like that style of comics, you're actually getting a characters that make sense, a story that makes sense, that you could. Like, I hate to say it because Dan Panozzi but Prophet was unreadable. Every issue.
Yeah, well, Dan didn't write Prophet. He just
right. So I don't want to criticize him because he'll never come on my channel. But
he's a nice guy. You could probably say that to him, and he wouldn't mind. We spent a couple hours with him, and he was super nice.
Yeah, and he started out on Villains Vigilantes, the game that inspired all.
That's right. You could talk to him. We didn't really talk to him about that, so you could talk to him about that.
Because I was looking up, like, I have an idea for the periodic table of the elements, and like what does each element do? And lithium stores and transports energy. So if I was to have a character, lithium, he would be an energy conductor, energy manipulator,
right.
Things like that. We got Keojo here. Greetings from North Carolina. Yep, he fights like Elvis and he sings like Bruce Lee. I'm actually looking up Elvis quotes because I want him to be like, "Thank you very much, taking care of me." His dialogue. Oh, I just lost it.
He sings his dialogue.
Kim for left the view then.
Oh, it went away. But I there's another character called Sergeant Stone, and he's going to talk like he was his origin was he fell in the Rhine River during World War II while fighting the Nazis, and the Rhine maidens rescued him, and over time he petrified and turned to stone. So he talks like a man out of time, like in 40s cliches, 40s war movie cliches. So picture Frank Stone, Sergeant Rock and Nick Fury merged together, and they're made out of stone.
That's pretty cool.
I've been talking so much, I had to take a
break. You've been up since 4 o'clock in the morning.
I want to tell you a funny story that has nothing to do with comic books, but just shows you how like weird things happen at work. So at work, I'm a construction worker. It's we got to take an outside temporary elevator called an Alamac. So it people in Manhattan hate it because there's barricades that go into the street. So cars got to go around and it's beeping all day. It's just so noisy. Trucks going around. Then we get deliveries, and it's a hospital. So there's always, it's just nuts. But anyway, the Alamac goes up and down all day long. And me being the guy handling logistics and everything like that, Alamac all day long. And the Alamac guy, they're always bitchy. they're always bitchy because the job is boring.
It's
You know what I
boring.
mean? Like, you just hit the button, you go up. You hit the button, you go down. You hit the button, you go up. You open the door, shut the door. So they're always miserable. But this one guy, he plays music. He sets up lights and he makes it as festive as possible. And he's in a pretty good mood. So my first day on the job, I walk in and I'm expecting a miserable guy, but the guy's actually pretty pleasant. And he's listening to the Grateful Dead. I'm like, oh, okay, the guy's listening to music. This is nice. So I'm just making conversation. And I'm like, oh, the Grateful Dead. Do you into music? Yeah, I like the Grateful. So I don't know why I said it. I was like, do you like Frank Zappa? I don't know. I don't even like Frank Zappa, but I was just like, do you like Frank Zappa? And he was just like, no, I don't like. Why would you think I like? Like he got all mad. He's like, why would you think I like Frank Zappa?
You know what? I would think of a deadhead would like Frank Zappa.
I don't know why.
My feeling is all my people who like that I know who really like the Dead love Frank Zappa. They like the same thing.
Right. So he was just like, why would I like Frank Zappa? So I've been on this job now for 4 weeks. He still calls me Frank Zappa. He's like, hey, Frank Zappa over here. Frank's, and I'm like, what's going on? I'm just making conversation, I get so there's two Alamac.
That's
the other Alamac, the other guy is, hey, Frank Zappa, you going to the 4th floor, Frank Zappa? Frank Zappa. I'm like, shut up. Has nothing to do with comic books, but
you're gonna throw him off. It'll be up the 4th floor. You'll throw him out of the elevator one day. Oops.
So I want to put that in a comic story someday, like Eddie's walking down the street, the guy's.
That's funny. And John froze. So here we go. Now I get to ask the question. So, Rondo, you look like you're working on something. What are you working on?
Thanks. I'm working on a few projects. I'm working with John on Mary Sue and the Petrarch, and I'm working also on Doomface with Aaron Sparrow.
Right,
and,
I see a lot of that.
Yeah. I'm working as hard and as fast as possible, and I'm working. Also,
it's almost done. You have two pages left.
Yeah,
That's like working 24/7.
Yeah, 24/7. And for RJ from the 4th Age, I'm working on his comic, Thomas Volume 2, and
right.
I'm very delighted with that project. I'm preparing to work again to retake it this week, and I have to handle all those 3 projects. It's very consuming, but I'm so happy because it's the things that I was planning to do when I was a little kid. So for me, it's a dream come true. Yeah.
It's fantastic. It's a lot of work.
Yes.
You froze there, John. So I don't want to have dead air.
Oh.
It's something I learned.
Am I still
dead air. No, I'll start interviewing people.
Oh, okay.
You're good now.
Yeah, I saw everything started to circle for a second, so. And then I didn't want to interrupt. You're doing fine.
Yeah, my your internet's been better since you put in that whole home thing.
What's that?
I think you've been better off since you put in that whole home internet thing.
Yeah, it's over there. That's probably why my brains are getting scrambled.
I guess. I don't know. I don't believe all that stuff.
Yeah.
Only the 5G towers. You live next to there, they're finished.
Is the Subterranean?
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah, this has been a major bad guy in my role-playing games. He's I don't want to give away too many stories because there's secrets about the Subterranean. But the inspiration for him is obviously the Fantastic Four's Mole Man. But did you ever see the movie Evolution? With
I was thinking more like Last of Us game.
The who?
Or the Last of Us game or the series from HBO.
The Last of Us
with the fungus and
I don't know video games too well. I don't play video games because I know me, and I would get lost and I wouldn't do anything else. I would get obsessed with the side quests and everything. So I won't touch them. I think they're fun. They'd look awesome, but I know I would get obsessed with them, so I don't want to play.
Yeah. They're very dangerous. I was a big video game player, and I worked in video games too, doing concept art. But it's very addictive. I have to quit because the last game I played was the first God of War, and for a week I don't go to work or I sleep with the control in my hands.
Oh, it's so much fun. I hate to sound like one of these old school people, but it's like, stop playing video games. Go outside and play ball. It's bad enough I'm sitting here reading comics. Can you imagine? I would just play video games. They look too fun. They look too fun. But so it wasn't really inspired by that. But that movie Evolution with Dave Duchovny, is that his name, from X-Files?
Yeah.
They in that movie they're talking about that these creatures are moving around through lava tunnels, and in the real world, in the Southwest and Upper Mexico, there's these tunnels, and a lot of them haven't been explored yet. That some of the the cartels are moving drugs through the tunnels into the States. People are saying that there's child traffickers and devil worshippers in the tunnels. But in my world, that's ruled by this guy, the Subterranean, and he rules those tunnels. And and what grows underground? Mushrooms. If you watch that movie Reign of Fire, where the people were living underground and they were eating mushrooms because anything that grew above ground, the dragons would devour. So I was just like, okay, so he lives underground. Mushrooms grow underground. He's dirty. He's rolling around in dirt. He never takes a bath, so mushrooms are growing on him. And that's part of his weapons. If you hit him and burst the mushrooms, spores are going to come out. And we all know what happens when you deal with mushrooms, right? So I just like this guy. I almost just spoiled something about him, but there's more to him than meets the eye. He's strong like the Hulk. He's clever. He's mean, and then he has this like hallucinogenic spore cloud that follows him around. So he's trouble. Yep. Video games are awesome. Just remember to touch. Absolutely. I know me. If I started smoking, I would never stop. If I started drinking, I would never stop.
You'd never stop till the game was finished. It'd be all weekend. You wouldn't be able to publish a comic book. There's no way.
Yeah, I would do nothing.
No way that you do nothing. I could see how you are. So
yeah, I would play
criticizing
every night
you.
till
I'm
2
just
o'clock
saying.
in the morning, and then I would get fired at work. It would be no good.
Well, you don't need to work anymore.
I wish not.
You got enough problems.
So
the curse of work is always wanting not to be at work. Like, I don't mind my job so much, but I don't want to do it because there's other things I'd rather do all day. I mean, you can guess what they are, right? I want to draw all day. I don't do that for a living,
Why not? It's fun.
Because I have another job I started to have that to pay the bills and have kids in the house and all that. It wasn't the crowdfunding and all this wasn't available way back when,
How much longer till you retire?
Comics.
Could you retire anytime soon?
Not right now, but I still have 5 years anyway. I wouldn't retire at 62. I'd retire at 65.
Oh, wow. I don't know. I got to crunch the numbers. I would probably have to sell my house in New York and move. But, that's why we need more Heroic Tales. I want Renzo to get
Heroic
money,
Tales.
I need to pay Renzo. If we hit $10,000, he gets a bonus. So let's get to 10,000. We didn't quite hit it last time. These are the others, and bonus points to anybody who could guess which Dungeons and Dragons creatures these are inspired by. Again, a lot of the monsters in my game, and the Subterraneans. There's a Dungeons and Dragons species called the Myconids. That they're the minions. So there's a lot of D&D in my comics. It's like lettuce and tacos or burgers. Sure doesn't taste bad, but there's other stuff that you would rather be eating. Mushrooms. I love mushrooms.
Yeah, they're good.
Oh man, I take a big portobello mushroom and grill it. You know, I hate when people call it a mushroom burger. It's not a burger. A burger is beef, but a portobello mushroom grilled sandwich is freaking delicious. Are they based on elves? No, they're not based. They're based. If you have the fiend folio, they're in the fiend folio. There's a race of toad-like beings called slads. So these are literally called slads when me and my friends play, but we can't call them that because that's trademarked Wizards of the Coast. So the people on Earth don't know what they're called. They just call them the others, which is really Renzo, you know what's going to happen to Mary Sue too, right? I told you.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And I have a little spoiler about the how the subterranean ends, and I can't wait to we get that point of the story.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't want to spoil. I'm so bad.
Yeah.
Marcus always tells me stop spoiling. Stop spoiling.
Yeah, you do
Yeah,
spoil a lot. We can really get most of the stories out of you.
The other
That's-
sociophobic.
I don't really care that much about spoilers, but
It's fun. Well, Zach, as you said, they're extra dimensional. They come from an entire different universe. You know, they're not even part of this multiverse. That's why they're others. They're from a whole other space-time continuum. So their matter, sooner or later, Mary Sue's going to call it xenomatter, and their matter, when it interacts with our matter, actually causes a corruption. So everybody touched by these people are going to have like a molecular breakdown because their matter doesn't exist in our universe. If we went to their universe, our matter would have the same effect. So like if you would have hit them with the sword would probably bend and not respond properly. So, as you can tell, I have ideas for them again, and there's a danger. If they show up, you're doing a specific thing wrong that it might be obvious if you read the comic, maybe not. I don't know. Maybe I'm congratulating myself, but if you're doing something specifically wrong,
let's see.
It summons these things, and there's going to walking cancer contained pretty much. Last time I played my role playing game, my friend Jimmy's character got bit by one of these.
Refresh.
He got. I'll just tell the story, then I'll refresh. But he got bit by one of these things, and he made a critical failure, and the creature made a critical hit. So he was doubly effed. So he was dying from venom, and then he was dying from molecular breakdown. And as Roy said last time he was on my channel, there's 4 players. 4 of them died the last adventure. They're like, John is a rough game master.
That's what he said. I said, how's John's a game master? He goes, he's brutal.
All right, we got 2 sales. Well,
There you go. See, I just
thank
refreshed.
Thank you. They appear when you don't tip your barber. I got to get a haircut tomorrow. Yeah, I mean,
I thought your wife cut your hair.
she did for a while, but I like to get the beard trimmed so I don't look like a homeless person.
Right.
Let's go to the next card. So this is stretch card 1. So at $4,000, if we get there, we're going to unlock the Mary Sue card. At $5,000, we're going to unlock the Subterranean. And maybe I'm being optimistic, but I got 20 cards made because I was hoping. But what I'm going to do is sell them in sets of 10 for continuing campaigns. So even if we don't unlock them, we'll sell them on the next campaign. And I'm hoping people are going to want them after they read about these characters.
Right.
So this is going to be stretch goal card 3, I think. I think 3. I didn't put the exact number. I keep hitting this wrong button. It drives me nuts. Okay.
Yeah, I think it was the 3. The 1 was Mary Sue. The 2 was the
another character.
The chick with the wings in the. Yeah. That
I
one
like that
was the
guy.
2.
Yeah, Shield Maiden. Yeah, Shield Maiden. She's a. I mean, it's not her origin is on the card. Again, if you get the cards, it tells you secrets. But she's again, I'm trying not to spoil anything, but like things aren't as they seem. And it's going to be made clear in Patriarch #1 when they talk about the origin, because if there really was superheroes, do you think that the government would let you know how they got their powers? You know what I mean? It's going to be in the newspaper that all you got to do is irradiate a spider, and then it bites you, and you become a Spider-Man. You know, like how many organizations or Russians or Chinese would be manufacturing Spider-Man? So every superhero is going to have two origins: the real origin and the origin that the government allows to go public. So, you know, her origin, and I'll let you decide if this is the real origin or the government disguise. She was an archaeologist, and she found a spear and magic helmet and became the Shield Maiden. Does that sound familiar? Do you know? Does anybody know? Get the reference? Spear and magic helmet. Nobody.
Yeah, Dr. Fate.
Bugs Bunny, spear and magic helmet.
Oh,
I recognize. I'm not thinking about it in that context.
So she is you know, she's possessed, taken over, or whatever by Brunhilde, the Valkyrie, and she's, you know, Earth's guardian. And she has this shield, and she could make force fields like the Invisible Woman, and she could fire lightning from her spear. And I'll give you guys a little spoiler. She has a boyfriend, and he's called the Midgardian. What do you think of that name?
I think that's Thor.
A regular human.
What's that?
A regular human in Midgard.
No, the Midgardian is a male version. He has a spear, he has a hammer, you know, he's a beard, he's the Midgardian. So he's,
you know, you could probably name him Thor, couldn't you?
Yeah, but I don't want to.
I know you don't want to, but just for argument's sake, you could do that, right?
I like to name the Midgardian. The Asgardian guards picked him to guard Midgard.
I wasn't trying to have you change a name. I'm just saying, couldn't you do that? Like if you
I could, yes, I couldn't make it look like Marvel's Thor.
Right. That's all.
Didn't you draw Thor for RJ from the Fourth Age?
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
I have a character, and his name is also Thor. But I like that that name you are giving to him.
No, I like that name too.
That remind me a little bit to like a Frazetta paint, and I'm really into that name. I like. I like more than a Thor.
Oh my God, we got like 100 people watching. Thank you. First off, thank you everybody. Second off,
Pledge, please.
I think I gotta
buy a comic, pledge 100.
Yeah, I gotta let people know that.
You know, when Cecil said, I got 20 backers and I have 100 people watching, what are the other 80 people doing? You're not backing.
I think people are waiting for me to update that tier. I tried to do it, and I don't blame them.
Keep us working. We are great.
Yeah, what do you guys think of my theory of superheroes? That it all comes from the name. I keep asking Renzo and Oscar to whatever they sketch that has anything to do with heroic tales. I have a folder, and Renzo's been uploading pencil sketches, character designs, and sooner or later, you know, if we get there, I would like to do an art of heroic tales. And we see the evolution of a character. Renzo's
that's cool. I like that.
And that's one of the things I'd like to do is, since I'm not an artist, talk about the theory behind the names. You know, what I like. Somebody sent me a very long, very well written email about my rules for superheroes, and I've been saving it for a video for when I don't have a guest or something like that. And I'm thinking it would probably best as an essay to complement this art of heroic tales that I would love to get to someday. So and it'll be easy to do because Renzo already did the artwork, and then we could pay him for his doodles and sketches and everything, you know. But
and I have a bunch of characters that I had to design for you. You pass me all your ideas, and your sketches, and I love how the energy that those sketches have, and I try to replicate on the paper, and that's the way the Raven born, and all I can't tell too much, but I have a bunch of new characters that John designed, and I have to I make some sketches on paintings, and we got it on that folder. I can't wait to make those on real paper, on real pages.
Yeah, I'm trying to
Yeah, you don't think about it, but it's very clear your sketches. You maybe look like silly drawings, but it's very clear the idea. I love the Phenomenal Man and the Wonder Woman design you did. It for me it was very clear what you wanted.
that's good to hear, because I get embarrassed by my art. You know what I mean? Like this is what I sent Renzo for Shield Maiden.
Yeah, I have it all.
But what Renzo sent back was this, but good. Like I joke around and I say that he's the alchemist. He takes my lead and he turns it into gold.
I was thinking like a Stanley version of the Stanley scripts, Marvel Way script. You give a major idea of what you want, and we do whatever we think about it, and it's fine. It's a good team.
So you like this idea then? This is helpful?
Yeah, it worked for me.
Yeah, cool, good. That makes me feel good. That because I like to draw, I'm just not good at it, and I'm not exaggerating. When I saw Shield Maiden, what Renzo drew, that's what was in my head. I just can't get that on paper, So
That's great.
It's a lot of fun. Let's refresh now. It's still at 20 backers. Still at 20 backers. I knew there wasn't, because I got my phone right here and I could hear the dings whenever somebody backs. What? Brian says sorry he had to go. Don't be sorry. You got to eat. You got to eat. You got to eat dinner. Don't be sorry. So it's almost 12:30 now. I guess we'll go 8 more minutes because I can't stay awake anymore. I've been up since 4 o'clock in the morning. Anything, guys, you want to talk about? Anything you want to mention? Anything you want to say?
No, you just back the project. We do it with all our love and effort, and it's a great comic. I don't see the patriarch part, but the Mary Sue is a very interesting story and with great art from Renzo, and I try to do my best. It's a good comic. If you like the first one, the second is best.
Yeah. It my goal is to get better and better with every issue. And so far I think I'm doing, Renzo, your art is just getting better and better and better. I mean, it was great to begin with, but I'm so lucky that you like working with me.
And the two parts are Renzo art. The two parts, Mary Sue and the Patrick, are just Renzo.
Yeah.
All the comic is just Renzo.
And look at
thanks.
that. The coloring is so good.
Yeah.
It's I know the character of Mary Sue is a hard sell, and I think a lot of people were iffy on it. And Renzo said what did you think? Did you think it was a weird character?
No, why?
I don't know. I think it's a natural character for these days.
Yeah. Well, I
feel it like a Scarlet Witch.
Yes. She's like the Scarlet Witch. The thing is, she doesn't have a mentor. She doesn't have anybody to teach her. So she's a Mary Sue. She's ultimately powerful. She's, you know what I mean? Like, if she had a full understanding of her powers, she could be Galactus. But she doesn't know how her powers work. And I want it to be that she's stumbling. And when you're vastly powerful and you're stumbling, there could be some consequences. Now, you're not really going to understand the consequences of her actions in the first part. I was gonna because I'm all excited. You know, I was gonna have next issue. I want to introduce the Raven, but it was also going to be the Patriarch because the Patriarch is the flagship character. So Mary Sue's story, part 2, was going to be like a year or so away, and now I'm kind of happy. If we do the Patriarch number 1, I could bump up the Mary Sue story so we could actually see the consequences of what she did, and you may not even get that she did anything big. You know, you could look at the again. I almost spoiled it again. I don't want to spoil it, but she did something very big.
Well, you explained it to me, and so
Yeah,
everything it's going to be very big.
Yeah,
She changed the whole reality
right.
with spoiler.
Yeah, it's hard to explain without spoiling it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's good. I like the ending of the story.
Oh, thank you. And a couple. Oh, we got another one. We're up to 21. Thank you.
Do you remember when you first showed me the script about Sue that I told you that I like even more than the Patriarch on script? Because
I didn't want to put
a lot. Yeah, had a lot of element of sci-fi element and repercussion on a character that don't have any mentor, that and that way she can make mistake, but the mistake she make have a real very repercussion that change all the world. And so she had to handle all that power and responsibility, and that's the magic of this character that I like a lot. That is why I love this comic and this character.
Plus, she's a sexy Asian girl, so that's always nice to draw.
That's the plus. That's the plus.
You know what's funny is in the Patriarch story, the opening page with the Patriarch and his wife in bed, Renzo made it a little bit more spicier than I asked.
Yeah, he told me that.
And then he covered it up. But the funny thing is, the Mary Sue getting her clothes ripped off, I wrote it to be more spicier and you toned it down. Now, I wonder if that's who you're like, I like Mary Sue, this poor girl. Did you do it like unconsciously or did you do it on purpose?
I think I made that decision it was not my intention because I was jumping from a project to other.
Oh, okay.
So maybe I forget to make it.
No, but it looks good. Mary Sue looks more innocent girl.
Right. I was gonna say, because whether you did it on purpose or not, it was the right choice. Because a lot of people like, oh, you got Renzo drawing, he draws the most. You got to make it more sexy. So I added that first scene with the Patriarch, and then maybe I got a little carried. But I'm so glad you did what you did because originally the monsters basically ripped her top off, but you don't see anything because her arm was in the way or Kirby Crackle was in the way. But the fact that she still has it makes it look like you said, she still retains her innocence kind of thing. Because I don't want Mary Sue to be like a sex object. Like she's not Fairchild from what's it called? Gen 13.
Gen 13.
And don't worry, Renzo. Issue 4, I'm going to introduce the sex object character. That
Okay. I like that.
I'll tell you about it when we get offline. Please, if we could just get to issue number 4. As much as I love the Patriarch and I love Raven, I love all these characters. I think the character that I'm going to introduce in issue 4 is going to be the breakout character. Everybody's going to.
Come on, we have to defeat the evil. Come on, you guys got it back because you got to defeat the evil that is Vaughn Coleman.
And he is evil. I've met him in person. He's evil.
What?
He is evil. I met him in person.
No, I know him pretty well. Yeah, I've met him a couple of times.
Vaughn is a good guy.
He's a great guy.
That's like one of the things. I was actually talking to Dan Frager earlier. He's going to be on my channel on Wednesday, and
good.
We were talking about drama and stuff like that. And I just said, Dan, I just want to talk about comic books, and he's just like, absolutely. I wish we.
Yeah, I think Dan's had enough.
Wholesome girl. Yeah, the patriarch's wife. Again, like my wife says, she's a sexy woman, but she loves her husband. There's nothing, when the salesman shows up, you don't have to worry. You know what I mean? When the patriarch, Renzo drew Regina. Oh my God, she's so sexy. The reporter, she's throwing herself at the patriarch. The patriarch's like, leave me alone, man. I'm happily married. Like, that's the way I want him to be. Mary Sue is a good girl. Like, she dates to marry. She doesn't drink. She studies, but I'm going to introduce a love triangle. And I think like her third appearance, I was telling Renzo, I want it to be like a romance cover. Marcus, how you've been showing romance covers. So issue 4 of her be an homage to 50s and 60s romance comics.
I post one every day, Renzo.
Yeah.
We're gonna have Matt Baker for a while. Matt Baker was a genius. You can see where Dave Stevens got all his style from.
Matt Davis was there. Hey, Chris, how you doing, Chris? I thank you, Chris. How you doing? Chris witnessed Vaughn Coleman eating.
I heard. Yeah, I've seen Vaughn Coleman eat.
Vaughn Coleman's the skinniest guy in the world. We went to a restaurant. He ordered so much food, the waitress thought he was kidding and only brought out half his meal. And he was like, where's the rest? She was like, you were serious? Okay. And he ate it all. Big fat guy like me couldn't eat it all. So I think Vaughn hates when I tell that story. So Oscar, for Eddie is Doomed, when we start going full swing on that, Tonic Ball has to finish up his fulfillment, which, like I said, makes sense. He's got to deliver to his customer. I would like to follow up Eddie is Doomed with a comic called The Top 10 and just have stories about all the characters we designed. Like I was like you obviously you get first choice of where you put, but I'd like to have different artists do different characters. To have, like Renzo, you got to draw Bikini Girl.
I want him. I want to see a Thunder Woman and Thunder Girl, a story by Renzo.
Oh yeah, Thunder Woman and Thunder Girl by Renzo. Yeah, that would be a good one. Yeah,
Yeah. I have an idea for a Captain Arachnid. The Silver and the Golden Age.
Right. We were making
sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, we were making. I was like, I need one more because we got 9 superheroes, but they're the top 10. It's got to be 10. So I was just like Captain Arachnid, and I didn't send a sketch or anything to Oscar. All the other ones they exist in my role playing games, and I have like sketches and sheets for them and stuff like that. But Captain Arachnid, all right, look. And then Oscar, I was like, okay, he's like this, and Oscar goes, no, he's like this, and pulled rank and then drew it, and I'm like, that's it, that's the way it is, right? The Golden Age.
You won't have to write anything. You just give the guys a plot, and you'll just dialogue.
No, I want to go out from the obvious. No, not a ripoff of the Spider-Man. I wanted more like if the Golden Age character, I wanted more noir story, like a spy master, like the Black House comics,
Yep. Normally, I'd find love triangles annoying, but less so if the story makes sense. I think it would make sense for Mary Sue to have multiple people interested in it. Yeah, she's, I don't want to spoil it. But the zombie sheriff is called the Tombstone Kid. So it's, he's a zombie, and he doesn't have any dialogue. He never talks. He's just a zombie, sheriff. I love him.
With that, I was not sure the design, because I was thinking the Kid Cole comics for Marvel, but when you say the kid, I was thinking a teenager, and I see it like a child.
Yeah, that worked. Like the Two Gun Kid, he was like what, like 17, 16 years old.
Yeah, but in the 60s, you have a 15 years kid and see it like a theory. They grow up early.
Yeah,
in the 50s.
when you see pictures of like teenagers from the 70s, they look like they're in there. You know, they
Yeah,
look like 45-year-old guys who should be working at like a car mechanic or something. Like,
yeah,
was watching the
20 years ago, 20 years old, they are married with jobs and
right.
with a war background.
I was talking about this at work. The people that signed the Declaration of Independence in America, the average age was like 22. You know,
Yeah.
and you know we think of like these people as like 45-year-old men, but like they were in their early 20s, most of these people, and then like fighting the British, and things were rough back then. Nowadays, you're 30 years old and you like, look at me, I'm 60 years old making comic books and playing with toys. You know, nobody back in 1776 would be like me.
They were showing. I was watching the baseball game, and the Yankees are playing the Pirates. So they showed a picture of Honus Wagner, you know, like the 20s, 30s, and Babe Ruth. And they said Honus Wagner was 32 years old in this picture. He looked about 50.
Yeah.
Because he didn't just play baseball. He worked in the mines or something in the off season. And Babe Ruth didn't look that much better. And he wasn't, you know, you have all those pictures of him, but he's really in his 30s, young, he's in his late 20s most of the time we see him. And they look like they're 50 years old. It's a harder life, even back then.
You know who else is going to have a hard life? Mary Sue. There's the first page.
Everybody's going to have a hard life, yeah.
Renzo, Oscar, did you see it with the lettering and everything?
Yeah.
No, it's the first time, and I love the contrast of the colors and the background.
That really looks nice.
Yeah,
and it's true the lettering make the comic practically.
Bill was in the chat.
Bill Williams, an excellent letterer.
He's an excellent letterer.
He really is great.
This is also, keep in mind, this is the first draft. I'm sending this to an editor. We're checking. So, like, the lettering isn't locked down yet. Like, you know what I mean? If I go to the next page with this dialogues, you can see, like, the pointers aren't there yet.
Isn't it great on a computer lettering? You can have them letter it and then check it. And then I just have to add a letter, and it's not that big a deal. Like, if it was hand lettered, you had to do it.
Right.
Completely backwards.
And this I like. I think I'm going to like give an exact time and date for every comic, you know? So, because the Patriarch I'm already starting, he's been around for 20 years. And then issue number 1, it's going to be set right after Heroic Tales number 2. But then he's going to, you know, that classic Marvel thing, retell his origin kind of, you know? So
and I love it, the first page, like all John Byrne West Coast Avengers comics with the close up with the splash page, no?
Right, yeah. And I heard for her second appearance in Heroic Tales number 3, the first page is going to be a splash page close up of her face, and I'm starting to think that might be the Mary Sue thing. Every time I do a Mary Sue, the first page is going to be a close up of her face, you know, like a little snapshot of the story. So this is obviously, you know, this whole story is told in flashbacks, you know, as basically her life is passing before her eyes because bad things are happening. And then the second issue, it's going to be a close up of her face, but for entirely different reasons with a different expression, you know. And then I think I'm getting ahead of myself. Oh, and Renzo, I already, you know how you drew that wonderful picture on the back of Heroic Tales number 1, you know, holding the baby and everything.
Yes. One of my favorite pin-ups covers of all times. Is so unique. I remember I sent you a very, very quick sketch, and you told me, that's the idea, but we can make this and that. What you sent me and what we did is just
it's
master.
Yeah, even if I never make another comic book again, I'm so proud of that. That is so good. That you know, I just love that so much. So I wanted, you know, the Patriarch is not going to be a flip book. You know, it's going to have one cover, but I don't want the back cover to be an ad for the printer. No offense to the printer. I used Comics Wellspring, and man, you think I called Luke Stone in a panic? I called Comics Wellspring in a panic, and they were so nice to me. They must have hung up the phone and said, "This guy's a lunatic." But I'm calm and collected here, but off camera, I could be a crazy person. So they're wonderful. They deserve all the credit in the world. But on the back of the cover, you know what I was thinking? It's going to be the patriarch at home. He's got to have his costume on so people know it's the patriarch. And then all 7 kids and the wife, and each one of them has a different comic book. And one of them will be saving the world. One of them will be Wolf and Batsy.
Like a Rockwell painting. Like a Rockwell painting in the Thanksgiving painting,
like a fireplace.
I got an idea. What if one of the patriarch's kids becomes a villain and he's got to fight? You probably thought of it already.
There's a lot of I did. Obviously, I thought of that. What if the patriarch's wife was the matriarch? I think of a lot of things, but what do I really want to do? I'm going to keep it. I'm going to keep it a secret. I think Renzo is one of the only people that knows a couple of things because he has to draw.
Well, he has to know.
And I think Oscar and Daniel probably know they got to color it a certain way. But there's already Easter eggs in the first issue of where I'm going, and in the origin. If I could pull it off, I hope there's going to be a moment in the origin that when you read another story in Heroic Tales number 5, you're going to go, oh my God, to prove to you that I've thought it all out. The only thing that changes is the order sometimes, because I get excited, and I'm like, I want to do. I don't want to wait to tell the Raven story, but
got another one.
But I will say this: the Raven story is crucial to finding out why the wife is burnt. So I have to tell the Raven story before I could tell that story. Otherwise, I don't think it'll be as impactful. I don't know. I'm trying not. I just want to spoil everything.
Well, you want to talk about it. He's so excited.
Yeah, we see a kid turning, but nobody expects the family mechanic. I just want the family to be good. I do. There's going to be problems. There's going to be problems that I don't want to that I don't want to talk about. The main problem is going to be because they're such a good family, such a wholesome family. The kids don't want to live on the farm for the rest of their lives. They want to go and have their own life.
The Amish.
You know what I mean? Yeah. You know what I mean? The kids didn't sign up for that. Like the oldest son is ready to go to college. So.
Yeah, but do they have to know like a secret identity? That's
it. Like
they have to be known as the patriarchs.
They're not tyrants. They're not going to be like, no, you can't go. Like he has to go out and meet a girl so we can have grandkids. You don't think the patriarch wants grandkids? You know what I mean? That ain't going to happen. What are they going to do? Import women onto the farm? So the oldest kid wants to leave. So that's going to be a problem.
Import women on the farm. That's pretty good.
Hey, Creative Welshman, how you doing? So there's going to be and one of the kids is good. They just assume that they're going to have superpowers, right? Their dad has superpowers. So what happens if they don't get like one of the kids is going to be really?
Is he a mutant then? I mean, if he's not a mutant, why would they have superpowers?
Well, that's just Reed Richards. Reed Richards' kid has superpowers. They're not mutants.
That's true. He's a mutant. Yeah.
So. But like I said, every superhero in my world has 2 origins: the real origin, and then the government origin. So, and then a patriarch annexes a small farm village. So that's going to be kind of family stories. And then I can't spoil it. If this comic flops, I'll just have a stream and I'll tell you all my ideas that was going to happen, but let's hope that doesn't happen. We're up to 21. We're up to 21 sales. 6. I was hoping because when we were on Bancroft, we hit the $1,000 in an hour. So that I'm hoping the tariffs aren't causing problems here. I've been talking so much. I got to eat my Chick-fil-A. Do you have Chick-fil-A in Mexico?
What?
Yeah.
Do you have Chick-fil-A in Mexico?
I understand.
Chick-fil-A is like
Chick-fil-A.
At least here in Guadalajara we have some some places with that.
What is this?
Chick-fil-A.
Pollo?
Yes. Sí.
Like what? Like Kentucky or like a pollo loco? Or what?
Pollo Loco. That sounds delicious.
No, es más bien como más más elegante, más
Yeah.
no sé, aquí hay varias plazas donde sí hay Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A is it started, I think, in the American South, and now it's in New York, and it is freaking delicious.
Yeah,
I
Chick-fil-A.
never
Really
heard
good.
of it. I never heard of it.
It's chicken. It's chicken sandwiches. They have a special sauce that everybody really loves.
Yeah.
They have chicken nuggets.
Oh, like Popeyes,
Yeah, huh?
Popeyes.
Yeah,
They have
it's
shakes
like
and
Popeyes.
French fries.
It's like
They have-
Popeyes, but like a
They have
step up.
waffle fries, but they don't have chicken pieces like Popeyes. It's not pieces of chicken. It's like chicken sandwiches.
Yeah, my wife doesn't like Popeyes, but she likes Chick-fil-A.
Popeyes is okay. I don't like Bojangles that much.
What
We have
what
Bojangles. I don't like that much.
what fast food places do you have? I mean, you have McDonald's and Burger King by you, right?
Yeah, it's everywhere.
Yeah. You know what?
Americans places, you say, or we have in Monterey, we have Wendy's, Burger King, McDonald's, Tim Hortons, Starbucks, Burger King.
I gotta ask, do you have Taco Bell in Mexico?
No, it's an offense for a Mexican.
Yeah, why would I was hoping you'd say
Well, they didn't really have Mexican food in the United States before Taco Bell. When Taco Bell broke through, then people said, "Oh, we can make restaurants," and they made some whatever better restaurants, like sit-down restaurants.
Yeah, but Taco Bell is not taco.
Yeah,
And like pizza.
Taco Bell is Taco Bell. It's not Mexican food. It's
Yeah.
No, it's not. But there was nothing. There was nothing even close before.
But I gotta say,
Before that, it's like pizza. There was no pizza. There was only pizza in San Francisco and in New York. There was no pizza all in the middle of the country. And then the World War II, all the soldiers that stood in Italy and Europe come home. Where's the pizza? And they created Pizza Hut and Domino's. And that, yeah.
Zach Ted, are you in New Mexico? Because there's Taco Cabana in New Mexico. I lived there. And the thing about Taco Cabana is it had all-you-can-eat pancakes for $1. And I got to say, when you were a broke college kid, you ended up at Taco Cabana at 2 o'clock in the morning just eating pancakes and a glass of water, because all you have is like $2. Oh, Texas. Okay. And it made no sense whatsoever that a Mexican place would have pancakes, but it was just like every kid at University of New Mexico was just like, what are you doing for dinner? It's like, I have $2 in my pocket. All right, we're going to Taco Cabana, but it was a step up from Mexican food. If you got their taco,
right. But yeah,
but I just don't understand how Taco Cabana had all you can eat pancakes for $1. It was just like, can I have more, please? Usually it was one plate because it's filling. They also had a Waffle House, and Waffle House had a all you can eat breakfast. It was like $7.
They don't have that anymore.
It was like eggs, bacon, hash browns, but you could only get one plate at a time. And then when you're done with that plate, you order and they gave you another plate. You know what I mean? So we used to challenge each other. How many plates could you get? Like some days we were so broke, it was like all you can eat because this is it. This is all. We would go to the Waffle House, and just like everybody, they made the rookie mistake. They would wolf down the food really fast. I'm like, no, dude, you got to eat slow. You can eat more if you eat slow. So
we used to have a Denny's here.
There's a Denny's.
We have one Denny's. We have a couple of Denny's. Not that many.
Yeah. No, not
we
anymore.
Have a lot of Waffle Houses. Waffle House is very, very big in North Carolina.
We used to have Denny's, and I like it. Whataburger, but they disappear from here. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Oh, the Whataburger. What's his name? Who's the guy that made the Iron Age icons, the cards?
Iron Age. I don't remember.
Andy Smith, Andy
No, not Andy Smith.
Miller, Andy Miller,
Adam Miller.
Adam Miller. His stepfather owns the Whataburgers.
Wow.
So that's why every time I see him, I'm like, where's my burger? Where's my burger? Yeah, I'm not joking. I was so poor in college. That was the only time I wasn't getting comics. You know, I was broke. Like we were like, not even kidding. We had like 5 people living in a house, and we were like going through the couch for change and fighting. I found this nickel, you know, and there was a gas station on the corner, and they had frozen pizzas for 98 cents, and with so it was like $1. We get a frozen pizza, and the fridge was always filled with these 98 cent, and we were like, you ate my pizza. Like we were fighting over a 98-cent pizza. That it was the skinniest.
No, the trick in college was throwing parties in your house. So the leftovers of food and cigarette and beer, for the week.
We used to have in Albuquerque. You know, this was before the Breaking Bad show came out, but Albuquerque, they picked it because there's bad neighborhoods, and we would have parties. We were college kids. We're throwing parties in our house, and skinheads, no joke, skinheads used to drive around the neighborhood, and if they saw that there was a party, they would just walk into the house and steal all your beer. So I remember my friend Cody, he had a keg party, and a bunch of skinheads just came in and picked up the keg and walked out, and like everybody's intimidated and doesn't say anything. But I remember the skinhead came into my house, and he opened up my refrigerator, and we had a keg in the backyard, but I don't know why they stopped. They didn't go in the back, and he looked at the sick. I go, hey, who invited you? And he's like, well, nobody invited me. And I just whispered, I said, you better get out of here, or I'm going to shoot you in the face. And the skinhead put the beer down and left. I was like, oh, okay. Beer muscle for the win. But at the time I had the shaved head. I wore this big leather jacket, and I always had my gun in my pocket. So I opened it up. I said, I'll shoot you in the face if you touch my beer. He was like, oh, okay. So yeah, I did a couple things I'm not exactly proud of in New Mexico. It was funny.
I gotta go to bed. I gotta go to that convention tomorrow.
Oh, you got to go to bed?
2
Hey,
hours.
I got to go to bed too.
You got another backer though. You're up to 22.
Oh, I'll refresh and let's bring it up. And I'm starting to talk nonsense now because I've been awake for like 2
Hey,
hours.
Renzo, I send you, Renzo, te mandé algo por el Messenger.
Let me watch it.
I want credit for the evil patriarch though.
Oh, let's bring that up. Let's bring that up.
Oh, you don't have to bring it up.
Hold it up.
I want credit for the
70%.
patriarch.
Yes, scan it. Scan
That's
it.
good.
We'll put it in the art of heroic tales.
I'll scan it. I gotta go to. I won't be able to do it tomorrow, but I gotta go to FedEx and I'll scan it to you.
Yeah. And Renzo, my friend Paul, he'll commission you for that Magnum sketch, that the big guy with the M.
Okay. I draw on real paper and inks and pencil. I love the design. I like a lot that character. I really like it. Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, he's referenced a few times in he's got a little box. He shows up in a cameo in the Mary Sue story, but in the Patriarch story they mention him because patriarchs try not to fight with stuff. That's the patriarch doesn't want to start fights. He's a dad. He doesn't want to just come in and start spanking everybody. So he tries to use reason first, and he's reasoning with the subterranean. That's one of the things he says. He goes, "You better knock this off, because I can't stop Magnum." Because Magnum is shoot first, ask questions later, and he's super powerful. So he's gonna, he's the kind of superhero that like everybody else has got everything calmed, and then Magnum shows up, knock it off, and everything starts all over again. So he's like an explosion.
Cool.
Because that's the way my friend Paul plays. He doesn't listen to any clues. He doesn't realize that the problems were solved. He's just there to roll 27 dice. So if Paul's listening, he'll laugh and agree. But
nice.
anything you guys want to say? I'm gonna shut it down for the night. I really have to go to sleep.
It was working.
Yes, I only can say that I wish to have the time to go to bed like like you. I had to finish those pages, and now I see what Oscar sent me. Beautiful as usual. It's a Doom page, space page. Sorry for my pronunciation.
It's okay.
I really want to keep moving with the cards and the new page and the Doom face. So I'm living the dream, and please keep backing the Mary Sue comic, the book, because what John have on his mind that is telling to me, he's just put any seed on every panel, and he had a huge universe that we gonna create in the future if we can support us or project. And please back this issue and make this possible.
Yeah, so much. And Logic is trying to lull us into staying. He is to all of us. What two characters would you love to work on and have total creative power for the Marvel and DC? Oh, Spider-Man or the Exiles? Oscar says. You like the Exiles that much, Oscar?
Yeah, I love the concept of the Exiles. Is one of the favorite comics. Spider-Man, I work in some spin-off from there, but I like to work in a story, complete run from Spider-Man. In DC, I love the Metal Men or the Outsiders
Oh
with
yeah,
Batman. Those I like a lot. Doom Patrol are great for me. The Byron, I love it.
Yeah, the Metal Men are a lot of fun. They're an underused DC. What about you, Renzo? What would you like to do? What two would you do for Marvel and DC?
For Marvel, I like challenge. I really would love to work on Captain Marvel, make her a really good, sexy character with deep personality, a very feminine character with a very strong feminine portrait of what a real woman are with her powers and all the stuff, but not making her tough and I don't know, and make her feminine but powerful
Right.
and
It
have
could
a
work.
real story.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
She was
Yeah.
sexy and powerful and fun and flirty and cool, for most of her history, and then they stripped away all the fun.
Yes.
You can make a girl character powerful. I'm making a powerful girl character. I have a bunch of powerful girl characters, but I want them to be fun. Mary Sue is going to be sweet.
Maybe we can make our version of Captain Marvel in one new character. I don't know.
That's
maybe.
Starlet.
I see you drawing X-23, the Wolverine and Laura Kinney.
Maybe that could be, but of course, looking her wild side, but still with feminine and sexy and powerful, and maybe from DC Green Lantern, but the Kyle the 90
Kyle
Lantern,
Rayner.
Kyle Rayner. Yeah, I maybe because I was reading with I when I was a teenager, but is my favorite. That one or Guy Gardner, one of those two, I like very very much. I like
what about the GLAI? the Justice League International with
Yeah,
Greg Gardner.
But it was a time when Gun Gardner had a very unique power. I think it was a warrior or something
He was a warrior,
her
yeah.
warrior. I
Oh,
like
that's
that
right.
version. I like that version. Or I don't know. I used to be a very DC more than Marvel, but in my mind right now, like I can figure it out a DC character, but those two Green Lantern, maybe the Punisher.
Oh wow, you draw the Punisher. You draw the Punisher
Yeah.
would be good. This character is Starlet. She has a small cameo appearance in Mary Sue, but she's Captain Marvel. She's got space powers. You know, she can fly in space and everything. But at the same time, she's also Ginger from the Gilligan's Island. So if
She's the one co-worker.
what's that?
She's the one who worked with her.
I'm
The
sorry.
blonde lady who worked with Marisu.
Yeah,
she's the one.
No. She's in the Mary Sue comics. She's one of the superheroes that already. She's on the same team.
Oh yeah.
But she's got cosmic powers. Starlet. She could fly in space and fire, starfire, and she could navigate in space. That's going to be her main power and stuff like. So she's Captain Marvel, but she's fun Captain Marvel. She's flirty. You know, if you took Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel, and mixed her with Ginger from the Gilligan's Island, you get Starlet. You know, she was a movie star who got powers. You know, and now, you know, she likes to be in front of the cameras and everything like that. So, yeah. So this is another character I hope gets to be popular. You know, I love this character. She's been in my role playing games for a long time, and she's vastly powerful. You know, and very useful and everything, but she's sexy and flirty. I can't wait to see when you two are done, when you're drawing her and Oscar colors her. It's gonna be. She's got to have that platinum blonde like Marilyn Monroe hair. Yeah. And the same question for me. I say it every time. I would love to draw write the Fantastic Four. I would love to write the Fantastic Four. They're my favorite. I think Reed Richards has been getting bad storylines. He's always, you know, I think all of these people at Marvel Comics hate their father, and Reed Richards is like the father figure, so that they're just mean to him. They make Sue Storm, like, their idea of marriage is people bickering all the time. They're supposed to be the happy marriage. You know, the Wasp and Ant-Man, they were the bad marriage, you know, but Reed and Sue, yeah, they go through bumps, but this you know, they're supposed to be the good couple, and I don't like to see them fighting. I want there to be idolization, you know, an idolized form of family, you know, with strife and problems, but that's what I would want to do. I don't want to draw, like, maybe Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange would be a second to write Doctor Strange. That would be fun too. Yeah. So there you go. And Marcus, any two characters for you? And then we'll sign off, guys.
I think I was just putting in here probably Captain America, or I'd like to draw the FF, unless I don't want to draw buildings at all. So then I want a space character. Who wants to draw cars and buildings all the time? So for DC, like Green Lantern, although I wouldn't mind something like Power Girl or Supergirl. You know, Superman. I mean, I like the base. I like the really heroic Captain Marvel, Billy Batson, Captain Marvel. Like, I like the real, like, it's
That's
like,
for DC. I would want to draw Captain Marvel.
It's like Andy Smith. I like the regular superheroes, and I say, oh, I'd like to do the question, so you can do the noir stuff. Like, I'd like to do a little bit of everything. But I when I was a kid, I liked Daredevil a lot.
Daredevil's
if
fun.
you really want to draw that many buildings all the time, I mean, the perspective, I mean, that slows you way down unless you're really good at it, you know.
Oh man, I told you that when in the 90s I sent DC a pitch for Shazam, Captain Marvel. You know, not rewriting everything, keeping everything in, but like just I don't even want to tell it because now I want to put it in.
Like a woman, She-Hulk, a woman character that you want to be able to draw really sexy and not get in trouble for it. So maybe the only ones left would be maybe She-Hulk and Power Girl, right?
Yeah, I have a someday, if we get to it, a She-Hulk character called Maenad. You know, in Greek mythology, the Maenads were these women that would take drugs and run around and go nuts and fight and stuff like that. So I just, wouldn't that be cool to just have this like superhero
I think
woman,
all of us want to do a secondary character that hasn't been developed, you know.
like a sexy Maenad, and runs out and fights and everything. But anyway, I keep saying goodbye and then I keep talking. But as a kid, I love Billy
You don't know how
Batson.
to do the Irish goodbye.
I know. Billy Batson, Captain Marvel, has one of the best costumes in all of comic books. It's so good. That red with that lightning bolt. Yeah, it's so good. And that's why Peacekeeper has the sash, because Billy Batson has that belt that, you know.
I really think about that character when I picture Shazam. I say, oh, maybe that's why.
Yeah, I like Peacekeeper. It's funny because people have been messaging, is he a bad guy? Is he a good guy? Like, they're judging my politics. Like, if I make him a good guy, then I have to be a Democrat. But if I make him a bad guy, I have to be a Republican. I'll say this. He's not a good guy. He's not a bad guy. He's loyal to the UN because he has loftier dreams. Like, he thinks he should save the world. So he doesn't want to. Does that make him a good guy? Does that make him a bad guy? I think it makes him a little naive, but he's got inside his heart, he's a good guy. I'll leave it at that. But yes,
until Lex Luthor becomes president.
Yeah, that's Philip Manning. He wants power at all costs. He's the bad guy in Mary Sue. He caused all the problems because he didn't follow the safety procedures. There's one thing I wish I could have changed the script because I thought of it after I saw the art and I was reading it. But I'll explain it after the comic ships and see if people agree with me. One thing to show you how bad Philip Manning could be. But anyway, I'll babble because I'm getting sleepy. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Thanks a
Good
lot,
night.
John.
We're back
Great
in.
to see you all.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.